I, Paul Diffley, hereby call the Board of Education regular meeting to order at 5. Folks, the meeting is starting. Shh. Feel like I'm in kindergarten. 5:10 p.m. We have a quorum present with all board members in attendance. Public comment regarding closed session items. Met with litigators. That's it. Let's see. Please note that the meeting is being both recorded and live streamed for public viewing. I would like to welcome all of the community members in attendance this evening. As a reminder, governing board meetings are a business meeting of the board, held in public, and although public participation is encouraged, it is not the public's meeting. It is the duty of the board president and the clerk of the board to maintain an orderly, respectful, and peaceful meeting where all perspectives, voices, and opinions are welcome. Please refrain from speaking while another person has the floor. This is not a forum for politics. I don't want to hear any politics, and if I do, I'll stop you. If you continue, you won't. Trust me. At the appropriate time on the agenda, individuals wishing to provide public comment will be called upon one at a time. To do so in accordance with Board Bylaw 9323, the board cannot and will not respond to non-agendized items, but a staff member will reach out to you on matters that may need to be reviewed as appropriate. Murrieta Valley High School student Megan Lewis, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Everyone stand, remove your hats.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A little confused.
Item D3, approval of the agenda, calls for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none? Okay. It's an interesting time, both nationally and locally. A lot of things happening, a lot of things that affect every one of us one way or another. I am glad that you're here. Glad that you're here to express your opinion or support others who are here. It's a great place for community input and discussion, orderly discussion. I'll call on my board members. If you hear a hint of politics in any of these, if you would say point of order and point it out, I will be happy to do that if I miss it. Okay. It's nice to have cooler weather. I hope you buy your pumpkins early. Or I have 3 used ones after Halloween if you like. You can have those for free. Okay. Student representative reports. Megan Lewis, Murrieta Valley High School representative. This is the really neat part. If you haven't been here before, you're going to love this.
Hi, board. Hi, all. I'm so excited to be back. So as you know, this is the second meeting. A lot has happened. So this month, I decided to go very fall oriented because it's fall. Who doesn't love fall?
So today we'll talk about academics, fall sports, and the climate and culture on campus. Academic-wise, we've had a lot happen. We had our PSATs take place yesterday at 8:30, so none of us got late start. We had over 200 students participate, with like juniors and sophomores. And when I tell you, I walked into the library and I was like, this is a lot of students. Like, every seat was filled. We had to pull in like 4 extra Chromebook carts for everyone to take it. And then our staff all attended the AAPAC meeting on 9/11, and that went really well. Our AVID class and leadership, they went on a mini field trip to, I think, UCLA, Santa Barbara College, and they toured them, got to like know more about what happens at those colleges. We started to incorporate our AVID tutors. In case you don't know what those are, there are tutors in college that come sit in our classes, help tutor kids in class, and then they're there before and after school. And our math department completed the first STAR benchmark assessment. Fall sports, our girls cross country have had second and third place in their 2 tournaments that have passed. Sophia Lieberman had broken another school ride record. She finished the Woodbridge Classic with a 16 30-minute mile for 3. I don't know how she did that. That's really impressive. Girls volleyball is demolishing the competition this year. They have been sweeping everyone they've played. Their current record is 23-6 with a, what's it called? Season record of 7-0 in league. They have been working really hard and has paid off. Girls golf, they've been putting in the hours and it's definitely paid off and is showing in league. Football. It's been a busy few weeks. We had homecoming. We had our homecoming game. That was really fun, and we won. And then we played San Clemente last Friday, and the score was 57-14. I think they are currently 5-1 in league, and they're second overall in the Big West Upper League Division. And tomorrow we play against Chaparral Pumas, and it is their homecoming game. We're hopefully going to take the win again. Boys cross country is killing the season yet again. They're working really hard. We have had people break records, and they're demolishing their past times. Boys water polo, they have been traveling literally so much across the coast and throughout California. Like, I had people in my class fully missing like 2 tables. I think they're in San Jose right now or something, competing in a tournament. They are currently 2-0 in league, and their overall record is 10-6, and they're number 1 in the league. Climate and culture. So we had our homecoming rally, which was neon themed, on 9/23 on a Monday about 2 weeks ago. And then we followed up with that homecoming football game. We had like a big turnout. The theme was also neon. We then had our homecoming, and the theme was Night in Miami. We had nearly 1,700 students show up, and that was really fun. It was definitely entertaining. We had our Hispanic Heritage Festival take place on Tuesday, and we had a bunch of students go. It was really fun. The activities they had were like really amazing. It was different. Like, I don't know how they do the dance so consistently. Maybe I'm just not coordinated enough. We also had our second club rush this semester on 10/1, so about last week, on Tuesday during our longer break, and that was fun. We have about 85 plus clubs, and we still have more getting approved every meeting on Wednesdays in leadership. And then we had our JROTC competition on 9/28, also the morning of homecoming. They did really well. I didn't go, but I had friends in there, and they say it went well. I think they finished second. And then we had our Student of the Month last month, and then we have a Student of the Month coming up this month, next Thursday. And then we had Staff Member of the Month, which I think was Mr. Kingman. And then our Red Zone is booming. I don't know if you guys know this, but 3 years ago, we won Best Student Section in Southern California. We're looking to take that back this year. It's always a fun time at the game. Oh, and there's the video. It's us throwing baby powder at halftime. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caitlin Coleman, Murrieta Mesa High School. Welcome. Oh, you have a shirt on too. That's cool.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great week. We've been really busy lately, so you might get sick of me for how much stuff I have to talk about. So it's October, so we have Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We have decorated the entire campus. Here you can see the front of the campus, all decked out in pink. We have pink bows all over campus. It looks adorable. We're also selling like pink Beast shirts and all this stuff just so then everybody can participate. For activities, we just had Club Rush. We have over 90 clubs. We had a lot of clubs show up to participate in our Club Rush, which is a great opportunity for all of our students to get involved in everything that's happening at Mesa. We just had our homecoming court announcements come out, so those are super exciting. We have all of our princes and princesses, and then voting for king and queen is going to happen tomorrow. Share the Harvest, that's our food drive that's currently going on. I believe it's going on throughout the entire district, but it's a great opportunity for families in the community who want to help other people in the community so they can have a great Thanksgiving or whatever else they may need. We also had Safety Week last week. We wore green on Monday for mental health. We wore yellow on Tuesday for childhood cancer awareness, blue on Wednesday for anti-bullying, orange on Thursday for school shooting awareness, and red on Friday for driving distracted. We had our water polo game I think it was Thursday, but it was a huge pride game. Our stands were filled. It was a really good game. We went into double overtime. Unfortunately, we lost by 1 point. Was not our fault. The refs were like super messed up.
Those refs.
Yeah, I was ready to push him in the pool. We also have our class of float building for our homecoming halftime show, so that'll be super exciting. It's going super well, covered in paint. It's going to be awesome. Academics, we just had our academic one-on-ones with our counselors, which are like setting up what careers you want to go with, what pathways, colleges, and just classes overall for next year. So that turned out great. We just hosted the SATs. We are the only school in the district who will be hosting the SATs in the 2024-2025 school year. We had over 190 students sign up to join, and then 170 students showed up, and we had kids from Riverside County and why is my brain? Okay, so we had people from Orange County and Riverside County, sorry. Mesa had 61 students signed up for the ASVAB test. That's gonna be happening next week. We're hosting it, but that is basically a military placement class if you're interested in joining the military. I think it's really awesome that we have that many students interested in going to the military for their career. And then our seniors and our other specialized math classes have been taking finance classes from the Navy Federal Credit Union. They are coming every month and teaching everybody about basic financing and just your day-to-day life skills. For RAM Athletics, we beat TV at TV, which is awesome. It was a really close game, but we won with a score of 24-1. Boys water polo just beat Hemet High with 13-9, and our girls tennis team, they're currently playing Murrieta Valley right now. We're gonna win. I know it. I'm really excited to see the score tonight. And our girls volleyball team demolished Great Oak with a score of 3-0. Clean sweep. We're doing amazing. Mesa girls basketball. They are starting their preseason off super strong. They just beat Rancho Buena Vista with a score of 20-17. And our girls golf team just had a tournament against Murrieta Valley. For performing arts, like I've said, it's been a busy month. We just had a band fall concert on Tuesday. Great turnout. A lot of people showed up. I heard it was amazing. Coming up, we have our drama play. It's a Wonderful Life. It starts on the 24th of October, and it goes through to the 26th. I'm really excited to see it. Our drama team always does an amazing job. And then we just partnered up with MV's choir a couple weeks ago to present Hawks and Rams Rocks and Jams, which all of the choir kids got to sing whatever they felt like, and we had a guest band too. For Mesa Culture, we have Breast Cancer Awareness Thursdays, so everybody wears pink on Thursdays now, not Wednesdays, super important. We have Student of the Month, which is basically when teachers get to pick 2 of their students out of all 7 of their classes to tribute, and they get a bunch of snacks and prizes and all that stuff. And then Unified Leadership Lunch just did an event today. They had music and games and a bunch of snacks to give to everybody. That was super awesome. Everybody had a lot of fun. There was a lot of students participating. And then our Unified Basketball season just started. And I think that's an amazing part of our culture because we have students volunteering to be a part of those teams. Our academic rally this semester was Lego themed. As you can see, we have students playing Family Feud up there. We got really involved in it. It got pretty competitive. But all students in attendance received a Lego themed goodie bag. It was super fun. Everybody was like playing with them all over the campus. There were snacks and Legos everywhere. We had 550 students receiving honor roll from last semester's spring. It was a lot of students, I feel like. An honor roll for us is a 3.5 GPA or higher. So it's pretty competitive, and I'm glad that we had so many students participating and are excited to be a part of our school. For mental health lunch fair, that was a part of our safety week. So this happened on Friday, and we had Riverside County, the Department of Mental Health. They come out, they have booths. We have the star of the show right here. You can see we had the dogs on campus, emotional support dogs. They came to classes, they were everywhere. Everybody loves them. I mean, who doesn't want to hang out with a dog all day? It's the best part of the day. And then we were also joined by the U.S. Army and the U.S. National Guard, as well as our local fire department. They were doing some recruiting, and they also had like some really fun simulation games where you could like go into this big trailer, and all of a sudden you're in like this weird war. It's scary, it's crazy, but it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of students who are interested in that, and we had like the fire trucks out. They were all like decked out with ladders, and it was pretty cool. Coming soon, we have, again, a lot of stuff in October. We have our Pink Out game this Friday. It's our best game. We have the most students attend this game. I'm really excited to go. Our Mid-Autumn Festival is this Saturday, October 12th. It's going to be hosted by our Chinese Culture Club. They're painting lanterns. There's going to be snacks, music, all kinds of really fun stuff. Then we have our homecoming game. This is the big one. I totally recommend you come if you're free. We have an amazing halftime show. We're going to have fireworks and like the float parade, as well as our king and queen reveal. It's going to be super fun, and we're going to win. I have faith in our football team. We're going to do amazing. And then we have our dance coming up the next night. It is car show themed and inspired by Transformers, so everybody is like a different Transformer. The rally is going to be really cool. And then we have our PSAT on October 23rd. I'm nervous. We've got a lot of studying to do, but we currently have 137 students going to take it, and we're still counting. So that'll be exciting to see how many students are interested in the SAT in the future. So then we can do amazing, like always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice.
What a great time.
Do you have dates yet on when people can begin donating for Share the Harvest? I know you guys taking whole turkeys and all kinds of canned goods, that kind of stuff. Is that on?
So we have baskets in every single classroom, and we started donations like last week. And then if you want to like donate frozen foods, all that stuff, you can donate it straight to the office.
Straight to the front desk? Thank you so much.
A question to follow that. Are you still doing in the morning the men volunteering to come in and carve the turkey?
It's men and one gal. I'm there every year carving turkeys.
I'm sorry, the folks that come. Yeah. That's good. That's good. That's something that's really unusual. I mean, for the outreach that it provides and the quality of enjoyment that it provides people, seeing that someone else cares about them. There's some people that never get that feeling, but this does such a great job. And you can come and have a full-on dinner and go through the line again. I didn't do that, no. But I'm just helping out those of you who do. And the food is really good. We have a top cafeteria worker there, and she does a great job of roasting,
200
at a
turkeys.
time?
And it's done by the Culinary Club.
Yeah.
And then on need-based, you can go in and get a box of dried and canned goods that really help out some families who need that. It's a great day, and I would encourage everyone to come.
It is, and it's fun. Our students have an area set aside usually where some of them entertain the young kids while the adults breathe a sigh of relief and go through the line. And that's fun to see them interact as well. It's a great learning experience for everyone, even the adults. Gavin Larson, Murrieta Canyon Academy, student rep. Hooray. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you guys for having me again. So without further ado, let's get started. First, the September report.
You need to speak up just a little more.
Oh, sorry. So in September, MCA, we announced our peer counselors who are Alina and Kanaya. One thing I'll say about both of them are they're very like kind and like kind people that you can really like talk to. Like they're always there for the students, and they're always just some people that you can just go to and talk to about anything. They're the peer counselors for anybody on campus that needs support, that doesn't like feel comfortable talking to any of like the front office. They go to the peer counselors and help them with their peer decisions. So there's that, and then we have a lot of colleges been coming over to our school, and with like the CalSoap coaches, they've been working with a bunch of seniors to help with their college applications and financial aid for post high school plans, because obviously who doesn't like want to go to college and succeed? You know, that's awesome. And for academics, so this is a big thing right here. So academics, one thing we do is we reward a lot of our students for academics with like from cool things. We just right now, like 2 weeks ago, we gave our students, we made our leadership. We made the students root beer floats for anybody that had a 3.0 or 3.0 or higher GPA from last spring's report card, or the kids that were advanced or proficient on the state testing. And I don't even know I made a bunch of root beer floats for everybody. I think me compared to all the other kids that made them, I think I made the best ones.
I've heard
but-
reports of that.
Yeah, but that's just me personally. I had to make myself one. Also, so this is right here where I'm talking about the colleges. Grand Canyon University came over to our high school, and they talked about a lot of our mostly seniors, but also juniors too. Talked about, life after high school and the opportunities that they hold. Same thing with Otis College of Arts. Grand Canyon University really like put the kids in perspective on like ways they can really succeed in the future, myself included. I know a lot of kids at MCA are there for a reason, and they don't have the highest like GPA from their older school, and they were talking about how, like here at MCA, we were telling them here at MCA, it's all about just helping the kids get back up to where they need to be to graduate. And Grand Canyon University was really like helpful in that way of telling these kids that they can go to a university or even a JC after high school, like whatever's best for them. And we also did a lot of student we did a student wellness survey that helped a bunch, and we did team building and guidance classes. We did like a bunch of mini games. And that helps us bring like togetherness on campus a lot. So also for our guidance and leadership, this is my favorite thing to talk about. For earlier in the year, the MCA leadership went to the summit at Vista, but this right here, the Fun Fridays, are probably my favorite thing to talk about, because at MCA we don't have like sports. So this is the closest thing we have to sports. And tomorrow we're actually playing soccer, but this is from we played Capture the Flag. And so they earn house points. So like every single guidance class is a house, almost like a Harry Potter type house. And they have their own name, and they get points. They get points rewarded for each Fun Friday or just whatever like activities that we're doing for school. And we did Capture the Flag, and I won on every single team I was on. I'm not saying that like I don't want to sound like cocky, but my team was the best team. And I think we're probably going to stay the best team every single fun Friday. I think we're going to win tomorrow, probably. But that, because I'm very competitive, so I don't hold back on everybody. So activities. So as I said, we did during Suicide Awareness Week, a lot of students have been, we did the chalk walk. So we write stuff on the floor in like the quad area, just like motivational type stuff, or just anything that, basically motivation for the students to keep going and just to do good on their schoolwork and just outside of school, just everything in general. And we also, as I said, we did our student panorama survey for the district. But the chalk walk is a big thing because it's literally like right in front of the school. I remember last year, some person, I forgot who it was, but somebody just like made like a huge, like beautiful like sun, and like there was a bunch of like motivational stuff around it, and it's like it's very cool to see and to read. It's always there if you need it. For our Phoenix Nest, so one thing about our teachers is they are very close to each other, which is not very heard of with obviously a big school, but our teachers are very close. They're always talking to each other at break and lunch, and they're always hanging out with each other outside of school, which is what our social emotional worker or learner worker did, Mrs. Du, and our leadership teacher, Mrs. Kowalski. They went to an equity conference in Palm Springs, and that's something that our staff is really good at. They're very together. Like they're always, I feel like, I don't think there's a day where they're not talking to each other out at break or lunch, and they're always out there talking to each other and the students as well. They're always playing with the students. Like we have a basketball court. Mr. C is always like playing basketball and like going hard on like every kid. I don't think it's like okay to do because he's huge. He's a big guy. But also for the month of October, it's obviously Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and this is something that we're doing October every Friday. We dress up we have pink every Friday, and the last Friday of the month we're doing a whole pink out, so like basically head to toe. I told them they can't like wear just like little stickers of pink because that doesn't count. Like, because we get points for the guidance the guidance classes get points if you're wearing pink. That doesn't count because they tried to like cheese it last time because we wore green last time, and they cheesed it by wearing, like, Mr. Cole bought every single one of their guidance kids sunglasses, and that's not like fair at all. So I was like, dude, like you can't do that. So just have your own kids bring their own clothes. And so yeah, that's what we're doing for October. I mean, I know Mrs. Susie has someone, or her mother, so her mother had breast cancer, so it's very big for her, and it's big for everybody on our campus. So yeah, I mean, pink outs are, obviously I have to wear pink tomorrow because I'm in leadership or I'll get in trouble. But so yeah, I have to wear that tomorrow. But that's everything. So thank you guys for your time. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Nice job. Now we'll hear from Taylor Aaron, Vista Murrieta High School. Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Taylor Arun. I am a junior at Vista Murrieta High School, and I'm here in place of Isabella Acosta, who could not make it here today. I will be presenting what Vista Murrieta High School has been up to during this past month and what we have coming up. So for activities on the ranch, we in September held our student versus staff dodgeball game, where students from different part of the campus, whether it be different sports or programs, got to play against teachers of different departments during a one lunch. So this was a fun way to get students and teachers together, but also give everybody an opportunity to watch this and get to see their friends or maybe their favorite teacher on the stage. We also held our fall sports rally, which showcased and recognized our fall sports for how their season is going or starting, and that would be girls volleyball, boys football, girls golf, girls tennis, boys water polo, and cross country. Along with this, we had band, cheer, dance team, and dance crew showcase at the rally, and the ceramics program got an opportunity to take part in this as well by showcasing a design they made for a game that staff played in. We also had our senior parking painting. This was an opportunity for all seniors who signed up to have their design and got their design approved to showcase their creativity and invite their families and friends of the community to come on Vista's campus and create a parking spot for the designated spot of the year. Our band program, who just this Saturday placed first overall in our San Bernardino High School tournament, have an upcoming Bands of America trip in Orlando, Florida. They're playing at a very high level against a lot of competitors, so we are very excited to see what they have in store as they have been working very hard throughout the summer and the beginning of the school year. Along with this, our choir program is hosting their first concert, which is the fall concert of the year, and this will be tomorrow afternoon. We are excited and we expect high attendance for this. They have been working very diligently as well, and we have been able to talk about this at many rallies or on BNN to showcase and get more recognition. So coming in about a week and a half, we have our homecoming dance. The picture on the screen is from last year where we had a record-breaking amount of sales of over 2,000 attendees to this homecoming. We expect to have the success rate or even better for our next homecoming this year, which is inspired by the Cars movie, and our title of it is A Night in Radiator Springs. We have a Spirit Week coming up next week, as well as a football game to showcase the court, in which we revealed yesterday to all of the students who made it and got that accomplishment. So as far as academics go, as seen in higher student engagement, better attendance, and the support systems that we have on Vista's campus, we have been able to achieve an overall DNF rate decrease as seen on the 6-week reports. Along with this, we have been working on the junior reflective tasks. So during office hours, the staff of our campus and the admin have been putting this together as it is a requirement for all juniors on Vista to complete. We also held our first bronchotorial this past Saturday after the 6-week grading period for students who maybe weren't as satisfied with their grades to get additional academic support and tutoring for this upcoming 6-week grading period. Our next one will be in December, right before finals. We have high attendance for that typically, and we already had high attendance for this first one, so we are really looking forward to this. Our AVID program had a field trip to SDSU and UCSD. At these two colleges, we also had Vista AVID alumni support them and give them a little tour, and not just a tour, but also had a conversation one-on-one with each of these students on what they would like their post-secondary school plan to be and where they would like to go. Vista has also been recognized as an AP School Honor Roll. Throughout the past year, our AP scores have improved significantly, not only showing the amount that our rigor has increased, but also the amount of different students that have started putting themselves in these advanced placement classes. We are very excited for this achievement, and it is on a huge scale, so we appreciate this honor. For us, our athletics, a few highlights that we have, our cross-country team got the honor of attending one of the largest cross-country meets in the country at Oklahoma State University. Our girls varsity team placed 10th out of 39 teams running. One of our runners for the girls varsity cross-country team placed 4th out of 345 runners. Very impressive. Our boys team also did amazing, placing 15th out of 50, and one of the boys placing 25th out of 448 runners. We are very proud of these Broncos and their efforts, as well as the team to get there. Our girls golf. Just recently, they also achieved a school record and beat Murrieta Mesa with a score of 177 to 336. We also won against Murrieta Valley with a score of 190 to 297. We are proud of our golf team and hope to see them continue to do well during their next season. Our unified. So we had our unified basketball play in ours and achieve a Southwestern League title alongside the coaches at Vista Murrieta High School, Coach Cook, and we had some players from the varsity basketball team assist this as well, along with our Leadership Unified program. Not only does this show the athletic ability that this team has, but also the inclusion that we have on our campus to get as many people from all corners of the school involved. Our girls volleyball team secured a win against Murrieta Mesa with a score of 3-1 and also placed first in their Durango tournament. We are proud of those girls, and they are doing amazing. Our football team is currently in the Division II bracket. They have a record of 4-2, and tonight they are playing at home in the Broncos Stadium against the Centennial Huskies. So go Broncos. Our girls tennis team just recently won 13-5 against Murrieta Valley, with one of our players, Brooke Ballack, scoring a clean sweep of 3-1. Our student support. So our student support is very excited to announce the recognition lunch that they held, hosted by Canes, in which Canes invited us to go to them, and we will be doing these once a month. And this is to acknowledge the students' commitment to excellence, and we will continue to invite new guests each time. So the culture and climate at Vista, as mentioned by MCA, they attended a leadership summit in which our school hosted for 2 days. The first day being Friday at school, where the entire school got to witness former D1 basketball star and a professional speaker, Kevin Atlas, talk to us about believing in yourself and believing in others. This was a speech on empowerment, and he not only gave advice to the entire school, but the following day in a more intentional summit, he was able to offer advice one-on-one to students. At the same summit, we had Inside Edition and award-winning journalist Lisa Guerrero. She talked about empowering herself, perseverance, and she mentioned empathy. That was a really part of what she talked about with us, partnered with Varsity Brands, who gave us personal breakout rooms and workshops. We also just recently, this past Friday, held our breast cancer awareness pink out game. So before this pink out game, our cheer team did a clinic with littles, and for the Friday Night Lights, everybody who was a part of that clinic got to take part under the Broncos Stadium in front of the entire crowd that we had. It was an amazing turnout, but we also got to recognize those who have fought or are currently fighting the journey to breast cancer. Our advanced drama class competed in the Rollabout Theater Festival in Irvine. We had 7 out of 20 of our students make it to the finals, which is a great achievement. It shows how strong our theater program is as well. And they got to participate in workshops and go around to different areas of Irvine High School to discover more about the art. Thank you guys, and I appreciate your time for listening.
I have to say that when the 4 of you speak, it's the best part of the meeting. In fact, we could just dismiss everything and go home.
Yep.
But, you're giving us insight into the daily activities, and they're both exciting and enriching. And so far ahead of what happened in my high school, that was just before sliced bread. You really did a terrific job, and I hope you, I'm sorry. I hope that you keep doing that and giving us the background in some of these things that you have, because it helps everyone in this audience understand better what's going on in our schools. And it looks like it's going gangbusters. Okay, thank you. Now, if you'd like to go home and study, you're welcome to do it, or you could stay here. Well, you probably don't want to stay here. But thank you, and you're dismissed if you wish. And something that goes kind of unsaid, but I think I'm going to say it anyhow. What you just saw tonight and heard tonight comes from good leadership in the clubs and in the classrooms. And that comes from teachers who are motivated and excited about pursuing or helping kids pursue better standards in learning. Terrific things. Some of these events will go on in their memories most of their life. They can point back to the Turkey Day when you all carved up turkeys and gave out, helped the community, enriched the community, giving out turkeys and just doing good things. And we see the the product of that, what happens when we look at our neighbors in North Carolina and South Carolina and so forth, people helping people, neighbors helping neighbors. And the germ of it, of an idea starts here with these activities that go on. So teachers and parents are to be commended, absolutely. Do we have a piece on the pass, the Berlin Pass yet?
I could include it in my report. Would you like me to do it now, or? So I think what you're referring to is the senior VIP pass to the plays.
Let's do it in your report.
So starting, I'll make it brief. Starting
Okay.
this year, seniors, I believe the ages 16 above, can enter our plays at high schools for no charge. And there'll be an opportunity to get a VIP pass, a lifetime VIP pass, to come to our high school plays at no charge. So, Monica, she has one. This didn't make it to me today.
That's great.
So it's just a little VIP card like this. They'll be available, make them available to our seniors in our community, and just be able to come and watch a play at no charge. And there'll eventually be more information about how to get to other events and venues that we have at no cost to our seniors. So we look forward to making that available to our community.
Thank you. And we're hoping to expand that into other areas such as dance and all the arts. It's an exciting thing. Yeah. Okay. E4, we have employee organization reports from, pardon me? Oh, E3. Oh, yeah, I was trying to avoid that. We have over 50 comments. Now, that puts us almost 3 hours.
More like
into just
55.
55, well,
Yeah.
puts us way over what your constitution probably can take. So I'm going to ask that we bring it down to 2 minutes. Most of you have done, when we've asked that, have done a great job. And if you want to combine your comments with, thank you. If you want to combine your comments with another friend who's commenting about the same thing, you're welcome to do that too. So can we change that time, Jonathan, to 2 minutes, please? Okay,
Start?
let's start.
Okay, so the first 18 or 20 are on property. The first speaker is Julie McHale. Julie will be followed by Michael Maples.
And has everyone picked up the handout out in the front about the acquisition of property? It has a ton of information. If you don't have it yet, please go pick it up.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'll try to go quickly. My name is Julie McHale. I live in West Murrieta. I moved to the Valley in the 1980s and have watched it mature over the years. And I know this is a very special place to live. I know why more people want to come to Murrieta because of being so special. And with all those increased, population, we may need more schools depending on our enrollment trends. But and I think we all get that. But what we're here tonight to ask you is to reconsider the site, that the corner of Ivy and Hayes is not the appropriate site to expand this school into. We live there. You're going to hear from a lot of residents that live right next to the site. We know the fire and flood risk. Many of us are also in real estate, and we understand the market dynamics in this area and the value of the property given all those conditions. And as you listen to the residents tonight, it'll be easy for you to just dismiss us as NIMBYs, and I get it. But if you would consider doing some research into what we're trying to tell you, I believe you'd also agree this is not an appropriate school site. And if you cancel this purchase, we could put together a group of residents to help you find a more suitable property, whether it's currently on or off the market. We should all be on the same side. We're all trying to do what's best for the kids, the students, and also the community and preserving our equestrian heritage. Also, I understand that since you're only purchasing the property without a proposed project, CEQA does not apply, and the board has decided to move forward without a full environmental impact report. But I would suggest this is not a typical site, and that most developers, if they were going to purchase this type of site, given all the other conditions, that they would want to get an EIR, or at least an initial study, to look at the mitigation requirements and the costs associated with those mitigation requirements. We think that they're going to be heavy, and because I only have 1 more minute, I'm not going to be able to finish, but I will be handing, I had a PowerPoint slide. I couldn't get it in time to get to this presentation, so I'll be handing this to Julie. They show actual photos from residents that live right adjacent to this site, showing you the fires, the flood, the evacuation zones over the years. You're going to see it all here, and you'll see the fires coming right over the hill right next to this property, in
Great.
addition to all the flooding.
Thank you for that.
We have a petition signed by 250 Murrieta residents that are opposed to this site. So, sorry, I had to get that in.
Okay, after Michael Maples, we have Connie McConnell.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And I want to, again, my name's Mike Maples. I've been here for 35 years, and I've seen what you guys have done for our community through the school system. My kids went through the school system. I'm grateful for every one of you and the work that you've done. I really am a little disappointed in the idea of thought. You guys have a tagline for this student. It says to inspire all students to think, to learn, to achieve, and to care. I'm asking you guys to open your ears tonight to hear what we have to say. Please don't discount the City of Murrieta citizens right now. This is not the time to do that. This is the time to hear. We love our community. I came here for a real good reason, because I wanted to live in a community that believed in quality, believed in raising kids in a good environment. So I'm hoping that you guys will really consider this project. I'm a contractor by trade, and I can see so many things. I'm not going to go through that. I really don't want to go through that with you guys. But in one of the public meetings that we had here just recently, one of your board members said he didn't know what he was voting for when it came down to the idea of moving forward with the project that you guys are considering on Ivy and Hayes. I find that totally unacceptable. The board's here for a reason. You need to know what you're voting on. We're depending on you to do the right thing. There is property in this community to build schools, and I understand the hard part about trying to figure out what are we going to do with all these people that are coming into our community, and I got it. I really do understand it. I live and breathe Murrieta. So I'm just going to ask you guys to think. Please think, and I'm not saying you're not thinking about there's so much to think about, but I'm going to ask you guys to make a good decision in regards to this property, and thank you for hearing me.
Thank you.
After Connie McGill, we have Chelsea Ritchie.
Hello again. I was here at 3:30, and I'm just going to bullet point what I said then. I'm not against schools. I'm only against the particular site that it's being proposed on. I'm worried about the cost to the city for the infrastructure that would take for all the roads. And I'm also concerned that it's being built in an area that really there are not many school-age children. It's mostly retirees. And the school does have other sites and offers of free land. That was my bullet point of what I said at 3:30. For tonight, I just want to bring up a couple of things. Someone had said to me, well, this has been said to me 2 or 3 times, that it's going to be years before this before the school is built, so don't worry about the congestion. But even if it's years before it's built, that doesn't change the same problems that are there. And the problems are safety of the site for fire, safety of the site for the riverbed and during flood time, safety of the site for traffic, and as I mentioned before, excuse me, before, because of the homeless that are in the riverbed near where the kids are, wouldn't be a good place. So you say it would take the pressure off of the current schools that are too busy, but how can it take the pressure off of those schools if you're also saying it won't be built for years? So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
So after Chelsea Ritchie is John Ritchie.
Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Chelsea Ritchie. I was also here at 3:30. I am in opposition of the new proposed school site. I've been a resident for 15 years. I graduated from high school in Murrieta myself. With traveling on the west side daily for work and school for my children and being a part of 2 schools within the west side, there is not enough space or time for thousands of cars that the city is facilitating on a daily basis. Currently, for next school year, our family is exploring other educational avenues such as private school or homeschooling because our daughter is not being taught well, and we do not want her to be a failing statistic of the public school system. Roads are not built for how we are impacting the community. Problem got increasingly worse when schools started later. Staggered start times are more beneficial to families who have children attending multiple schools. City of Murrieta residents' concerns are falling on deaf ears because Murrieta Valley Unified School District and the state of California are walking all over rights of citizens and not taking into account what is best to continue the legacy of this city. Not if redistricting will take place, but when my future children and family will be impacted negatively. This property is not what is best for our community. This was a selfish decision that was made. Millions of taxpayers' dollars will have to be used to provide sidewalks, larger roads. How do we make wider roads when it is a small 2-lane country road with blue water lines and ditches? Safety is a concern with a K-8 school. I would not feel comfortable to allow my child to walk to school here in fear that they would get killed on their way to school. I've witnessed speeding cars on a daily basis here at this site. Not enough money to purchase property, but enough money to purchase this property, but not enough money to build a school. How does this make sense? Thank you.
After John Ritchie, we have Lance DeForest.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'll be very short. We've heard about all the hazards all day long. We keep hearing about. What about the emergency responding crews that are going to have to enter? Them getting in there is going to be very struggle-ish for them to get through with these cars. People are trying to race out. Emergency responders start racing in. Take a lot of time for them to get in there with the limited access ways. You know, how can they get there for our children if they have a medical emergency, if a fire starts, things like that? We're going to create a formula for a major disaster, and our kids will be the ones that suffer. Also, right now, we deal with it constantly with the schools. You know, they're understaffed, they're struggling. You know, aftercare programs, those aren't there. Adding another school, where are we going to get those from? Those teachers, those assistants, everything. You know, there's a lot of things that aren't factored, and we a lot of times play catch up after the fact the school has been built. Plan on the cities, increasing roadways, changing all that, the infrastructure. All that gets done a lot of times after it's accessed, after the school has been put in, and at which time we've already wasted the money purchasing the area or whatever else. That's all I really have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Lance DeForest, we have Dennis, and I can't quite read the last name. It starts with VRU. Okay, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Lance DeForest, a local resident on Hayes Avenue, a former coach for MV for 9 years, and a Riverside County Sheriff for 23 years. I've heard from the district and staff that this is the best proposed location for the new school. My question is, the best for whom? The kids, they're going to have a school in an extreme fire location, a 1,000-acre creek drainage with a roaring river just away, just six months out of the year, a dead-end street with Marietta only cemetery on it, and one of the most prestigious communities in the city gridlocked by a K-8 school. Best for Marietta police? No. The way emergencies work is the kids get all on their phone and start calling, and the parents start running to go save their kids. How are the police and how are the fire trucks going to cross a 2-lane bridge? There's going to be 500 cars in front of them with nowhere to go to get out of their way. Fire trucks won't be able to get through. Police cars won't be able to get through. If it was an active shooter, if there was a major fire, there's no way police and fire can get through. All the cars are going to gridlock that 2-lane road. Best for the citizens? Obviously, the citizens don't want it. There's a huge turnout. I've never seen anything like it in this community. We've never had a turnout like this before. But the citizens don't want it. It's aggravating to the entire west side of Murrieta. It's putting our kids at risk. It's costing the city and eventually the taxpayers millions of extra dollars. Also, the district can pay at least twice the estimated value of the land. So this makes me wonder who really wants this and what good does it do for our citizens? Thank you.
Thank you.
After Dennis Bruman, we have Dr. Lisa DeForest.
Good evening. My name is Dennis Bruman, and 32-year resident of the city, retired Murrieta Police Department, and also retired undersheriff with Riverside County Sheriff's Department. And I share that with you. You educated 3 of my now adult kids, and I have 4 granddaughters that live within the district as well, too. While I was at Murrieta PD, started the Every 15 Minutes program, the DARE program, and worked a lot with your school sites and all of your superintendents, the previous 4 superintendents. So I share that with you as far as the history goes, because I think history goes a long ways as to how we got here. In years past, previous superintendents prior to Dr. Scheer was, hey, we the school district, we build schools and educate kids, and that's where we stop. We don't look at traffic concerns. We don't consider those type of things. This building here was originally, the city had offered to have the school district headquarters on the Civic Center property. A board member who I worked with and a second board member, and even the superintendent at the time said, hey, look, we don't want to be kind of front and center. We're just going to kind of hide our district office down here in the south end in the business park. I share that with you because of the lack of transparency, which I think is part and parcel to where we are now. We, the school district, we had to work after the fact at Murrieta Valley High School, had to work at the traffic mitigation concerns. That bike lane that's there, city paid for it. The signal, city paid for it. A lot of the traffic circulation issues, we, the police department, had to do that. These were all built upon relationships. It was, oh, and by the way, I'm also a planning commissioner, but I missed the last meeting because I was out of state. So if somebody could yield more time, I'd like to finish one of my thoughts, if that's okay. Somebody wants to give me 2 minutes?
Yeah, we don't. Oh, we're not yielding. People aren't yielding time anymore. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I just offer another suggestion for you. Thompson Middle School. You have your Creekside or your Murrieta Canyon Academy there. You're building a K-8 school site. You could use less land if you consider maybe relocating that location, incorporating Thompson Middle School into that location, which is adjacent to that. You'd need less land site for an elementary school, and you could put the land somewhere else. And you wouldn't need to have it at that location. There's other school site locations that you could consider, but again, having conversations with the city and looking alternatives would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Dr. Lisa DeForest, we have Mary Thompson.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening.
Pull the microphone down.
He was taller than I. So thank you. Good evening. School board trustees and staff and community members. My name is Dr. Lisa DeForest, and I serve as your 3rd District Councilwoman for the City of Murrieta. I'm here tonight to express my concerns regarding a proposed school site at the corner of Ivy and Hayes, located in rural, residential, equestrian area of our community. I am speaking both as a resident of Hayes on Hayes Avenue and as representing over 200 constituents who have reached out to me for their concern about this proposed location. Since the recent Planning Commission meeting, where the commission and the city said the location was not suitable, may I say that again? Not suitable. I have consulted with a water engineer, a city planner, and our engineers. While I understand the city has a mandate to provide infrastructure for school sites, my research has showed that placing a school at Ivy and Hayes will require the city to spend a minimum of $10 million in basic improvements in the area. The area was not, I say not, set aside to be improved. This remains rural. This is our rural residential area. The city has plans that say that this area drains over 1,000 acres. It is called flat plain drainage. Flat plain drainage is in our general plan for this area. This will be incredibly costly. Who's going to pay for that? We will have to ask our constituents to pay $10 million, maybe out of our general fund. No fire truck, no community center, maybe no pool. This is not right. We understand the city will have to make improvements, but not there. There is alternative locations. I have personally met with Dr. Andrus on 2 occasions to discuss the concerns raised by the community. As a Murrieta City Council member, I'd like to extend an olive branch to Murrieta Unified School District. Although you are not required to partner, the city collaboration could lead to a solution that is in the best interest of the community. Working together, we can identify a location that better serves the needs of our students.
Thank you.
So after Mary Thompson, we have Mario Wood.
Hello, I'm Mary Thompson. I've been a resident of Murrieta since 1990. My kids have also gone through the school program. And I lived across the street from Tovashall Elementary for 14 years, so I'm very aware what that can bring, which is one of the reasons why I moved to the west side, where it was beautiful, peaceful, nice, and quiet. With that being said, as many of the other citizens have expressed, I don't believe that this is the proper area for a school. As many people have mentioned, for safety reasons, number one, the flooding. Kids are very curious when that creek starts flowing and they're trying to walk home or whatnot, they're going to get very curious, and I would hate to see that the school district would be, paying some lawsuit for some children drowning there. I live in the Olive Hill Ranch community, and I know that you guys have expressed about the homeowners there, as someone mentioned also. There's only 4 homes that actually have children there. The thought of parents having to pick up their children in the cemetery, I just don't think that's very good for several different reasons. Also, I actually pulled some comps on recent sales over the last year for properties that were 15 to 20 acres, and there was only one of them over $1 million. So I just feel like the school district isn't being very fiscally responsible with our money as a citizen, and that money's just going to sit there. With that being said, you don't have any money to build the infrastructure as well. We're all looking for a great quality of life here. And I'd like to help you also. I don't think anybody's opposed. We want to find a better solution where the community can be happy and, take care of our children.
Thank you. After Mario Wood is Jeff Connor.
Mrs. Thompson, could you give those comps to Julie, our executive assistant there? Any turn-ins, that would be great.
Good evening to the board.
Hold on just a minute.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Just don't start that clock.
Go.
Are you ready?
Good. Let's do it.
Good evening. I am not nearly as eloquent as some of the people that have gone before me, and I was addressing very much of a lot of the similar issues. For example, the values of the property, the traffic studies, have those been done? I don't believe they have. The impact studies, as far as the environmental impact reports, have those been done? And those are costly. Have those been figured into the dollars that are being quoted as a price for this school? It is an unsafe site. I've been here since 1984. My children all graduated from our first high school, Murrieta Valley, which was not here. We went to Temecula and we went to Lake Elsinore. There was no high school. But what they did do, the children managed to ride down Ivy Street when it flooded in rafts, and there's pictures in the paper that show that. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen at this school site. When it floods, those kids are going to do what kids tend to do. They get creative, they hop on something that floats, and they ride down the street. I don't think that is a safe thing for us to encourage our children to do, especially when you're combining a K through 8, which is what Murrieta L used to be before we got to middle school. I remember the whole community was in a brouhaha about the middle school because we said, oh, Orange County is coming to Murrieta. Isn't that why they left Orange County? I've been a realtor here for 33 and a half years, past president of the Board of Realtors, traveled for the California Association of Realtors. So I am well aware of market values and things of that nature. Just saying, there are better properties out there. Unfortunately, you're going to need to take the time that it takes to actually look for the right property, not just to take what's convenient at the time. And this property is neither, and it's already been designated as inappropriate, not by me, but by members of the government. So that is the end of my speech. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, after Jeff Connor, we have James O'Malley.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Connor, 5-year resident in Murrieta. I moved from Canyon Lake because it was a densely populated area for residential, and I thought I would move to residential to the rural side of Murrieta. I had no idea at the time that I'd be looking at a school down the street from me, looking at a street light of all things at Hayes and Ivy, because a stop sign isn't going to do. If you guys don't know, I sent 4 of you emails. My name is Jeff Connor, so that rings a bell. If you read, you can put a face to the email. Obviously, I don't have time to read my email to you guys. I hope you read through it. A couple things that I'm going to touch on. Available sites. I touched on a 32-acre site on Jackson, right south of the 15-215 split for $13,500,000. You could have partnered with the city or split it off and sold it and offset the costs and have something where all the building is going on. There's 14 acres with 7 additional acres available on the northeast corner of Jefferson and Guava. That information took me 5 minutes to look up. The school district seems to be so desperate at finding a place, it's embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing. Not the traffic flow just in Ivy and Hayes, which we have dozens of people that are driving now. There'll be thousands of people going back and forth to school. What you're going to have is the impact on the 15 to 215 overpasses, where the growth actually is. The growth is not in our area, nor will it be in our area. We live on a dead-end street. As a 33-year firefighter, that's a problem. We have no infrastructure in place, as everyone's talked about, no sidewalks, bridges, and obviously the water flow that we have in the wintertime. I promise you, I came from a city with a seasonal river. Kids will play in that river. And there will be kids that die. There absolutely will be. Other facts that I have, have you actually visited the site? Mm-hmm. Have you actually been there to look at it? Please do.
Thank you.
It makes 0 sense.
Thank you. After James O'Malley, we have Janine Reed.
Welcome.
Good evening. Members of the board, I'm James O'Malley. I traveled out here as a businessman and an applicant, and I represent a property called the Vineyard. It's about 400 acres, very close to the proximity of the school site. And we're in the EIR process, or the CEQA process right now with the city of Murrieta, and we have an alternative in that process. So every time you go in front of a body or you prepare a plan, you have a preferred plan. In our case, we have 2 preferred plans: residential, open space, parks, and a school site. And we have a school site that would fit this situation. One thing I learned many, many, many years ago in college, one of the few things I remember, is you always design for a site and situation. In our case, we can design for this site and this situation. 15 acres meets all the parameters, a good deal, land developed. People mentioned our infrastructure, that would be included. So I would ask that we have negotiations. We were speaking last year, and those negotiations fell, or just conversation really wasn't that much of a negotiation. So we have a good opportunity. I think it could satisfy a lot of what I've heard here tonight. I've heard from a few of the citizens that there are better sites. I would definitely consider our property a better site, and I could go on and on and on and bore you, but maybe not bore many members of this audience on the benefits of our property being utilized for your interests and your needs. One thing I have noticed, and it's not good in our business, is the opposition. you want some proponents with an idea and not so many opponents. And it looks to me like there's quite a few opponents with this idea. And it is an idea. We'd like to take it to the next step forward and work with your fine staff and yourselves and find a great solution for this community and your interests. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Janine Reed, we have Natalie Reed.
Welcome.
Yeah, good evening. We have lived here since 1980. My husband actually worked on that site that is going to propose school. I don't want to see the equestrian part of it to be gone. Everything, it always happens. They push it out. And they also have the Tour de Murrieta that utilizes that area. Somebody mentioned the cemetery. That's not, yeah, that would be a problem too. And I don't know, try to find something different. It's not, I've had to pick up my grandkids at Murrieta High School, and the traffic is tremendous. It's horrid, horrid. And you got even police having to bust people's chops because they are getting frustrated with the traffic. I can't see that happening there. It's just terrible. Terrible place to put it. Please try to find somewhere else. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Natalie Reed, we have Kristen Johnson.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you. So I'm not really sure if this is going to do any good because it kind of seems like it's already been a done deal. And to me, that seems slightly sneaky in the whole aspect of all of it. But like my mom said, we're going on 45 years here. I went to that school. I went to that school. I've been here. I've been one of the kids that went down the riverbed. So I can attest to that. I grew up on that ranch too, where the area is predicted. And then we also have a property on Hayes. It just agreed. The roads are terrible. There's never going to be a proper way to put in roads there with ranches and everything like that. I got another idea for you. Right across from the CarMax. It's such a huge property. Throw in some extra area for all the parking that needs to be done and the driving to pick up the kids, and I'll eliminate the school buses because all the kids that are coming from the apartment complexes can just walk to school at that point. I agree with the cemetery thing too. That's kind of sketchy for a little kid to be around. Believe me, grew up and ran around on that. Also, let's just take the thought process of what happened with Temecula and putting industrial on one side and how that has screwed up everything in their traffic flow over there. So let's try not to do that here and just keep the one side of the riverbed residential and the other side is already the way it is, and maybe we can just go all happy together that way. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Kristen Johnson, we have Anne Marie Berry.
Good evening, and thank you for your time. My name's Kristen Johnson. I'm a resident of the west side of Murrieta. And I just want to say I am for schools and I am pro education, but I will tell you, you sent out a brochure months ago, the district. Professionally done, pictures, everything. Gave very clear information on what is needed from the school district, what is needed for our kids, getting rid of portables, re-roofing. And my husband and I had a great conversation that we would absolutely support a school bond. After everything that's gone on in the last several weeks, there is absolutely no way on God's green earth I would vote for a school bond right now with all the lack of transparency, the secrecy, the elevated prices for this property, and the safety issues. I downloaded the California Board of School Board Association information on site selection and land acquisition that I do want to highlight just a few things. That the board is supposed to act as community members. Here's your community. Has the board engaged local planning committees? Is there an opportunity for discussion? Holding community meetings to engage members of the public in the process not only should be a part of the plan to inform the community at large, but also the stakeholders. There is a very good list of what is required to look at this property. I would never, as a human being, buy a property and then do due diligence. I think that is insane. Topography, accessibility, public safety, which you're already hearing and I will not repeat over and over again. Each of these pieces of information must be thoroughly researched by the district and or consultants as a process of identifying and selecting, not post-purchase, of a parcel for a school site. Results of geological studies, soil analysis.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. After Anne Marie Berry, we have Brian Tankledge.
Welcome.
Hello. Yes, I am a retired teacher, 38 years, and I moved to Murrieta in 1991 on the east side, which was rural at the time because Whitewood had a dead end and there were no homes there. We walked our dog. But now there's Vista and all those homes up there, and I'd hate to see the equestrian rural area of Murrieta disappear, you know, and so also, when we had the meeting a couple weeks ago, they mentioned something about schools shouldn't be near shopping centers, but Vista and Mesa are near shopping centers, so that wasn't a problem. And then also, I have a lot of friends that live in this side, the west side, and I know at night when you have sports and football, it's very, very windy. No one's mentioned that. It's very windy, and so I can't imagine playing football and wind. And then also the cemetery, and then busing students would not be fair, taking them out of their neighborhoods to bus them over to the west side. So I just want to add on those things. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So after Ryan Tankledge, we have Heidi Tankledge.
That's actually going to be Sam Lockhart after me.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Brian Tankledge. I'm a new member to the community. Just moved here recently. Love Murrieta. Lots of reasons to love Murrieta. This school location is not a good site. Lots of reasons for that. I think they've all been addressed. There's a government code section that allows the board to hold closed meetings. It's not necessary to hold closed meetings. Lots of good comes from participation within the community. Get it out there. We're all supposed to participate in this process. And I don't know if you've all had a chance to read our mayor's letter that was addressed to Dr. Andrus. Also, the city planner, his letter as well. All the negatives that go along with this site. There's just too many negatives. There's mention of due diligence. We're all left in the dark. We don't know what due diligence has been done. But I could tell you right now, I've done some development. This site would be very costly to develop. The amount of water flow, the Q value that comes off the Santa Rosa Plateau that flows through this site, just dealing with that, mitigating that. You guys could pay $4, $5, $6 million more with the streets you would have to improve, the bridges, dealing with the water, the environmental. I should get into that. It's very quiet out there. There's lots of wildlife. I welcome all of you to come out, reach out to me. I'll invite you over to the house. You can come see it tonight if you'd like. We have owls flying every night. There's tons of birds of prey out there. The environmentalists are going to have a field day with this. I don't know why you guys are in such a rush to close on this property. Okay, there's lots of due diligence to be done. This is not a good site. There's tons of evidence of that. That meeting that happened on September 25th, I was notified the day before that meeting was going to happen. Every comment in those two letters I mentioned came out of that meeting. Every community member spoke up of all those negatives. Everything is in those reports. So I hope you listen to all of us. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sam Lockhart. Sam's taking her time. She's giving it to me.
So she's not speaking?
That is correct.
Okay.
So Samuel Lockhart, I live over on the west side as well. Thank you for the 2 minutes here. So as I understand the process, it was the school board. You hired a third party to come in and analyze the situation, and then you went into closed session, and then this person then presented to the board, and everyone you voted unanimously. And the problem I think the community has with the whole situation is it doesn't feel honest, right? It doesn't feel honest to us, because I understand that, you know, you can do what you're doing, right? You can force your way onto property, but this is not something that you can do, but should you do it? That's really what you should be considering tonight. I understand that you can buy the property. You can say, we don't really care what the community has to say, and we can move forward, but should you? And you should not. You've heard the reasons why, right? And I think really what should happen here on a go-forward basis as you know, members of the school board, you should say, hold on, school district, when you come in, we should say, what does the community have to say? And this is really what we should learn from this situation. You didn't hear anything from the community, and I'm sure you went like, hey, this was a mistake. And I hope that you as a school board see that now, that this was a mistake. You should have had an open session and invited members of the community to come in and speak. And I understand you're going to say the law does not require it, but as a member of the community, it should have been done, right? So please next time, ask us, and we can help you find the proper site, because you know this is not the right site. So we hope that you do the right thing on a go-forward basis, especially with this property, and find the right property that we can work with you on, because no one's going to pass a bond, right? We are all going to work against you on a go-forward basis, right? So you've only created enemies here. You want allies, but you only have enemies. So if you do the right thing, you do not buy this property, you will have created allies. If not, you will have created enemies. Last thing I'll say is you're buying a property that's only worth $7.5 million if the school buys it. The only other entity besides a private person that could buy it is a school. So it's not worth $7.5 million to anyone but a school. Not honest.
We have Jana Farella, followed by Ron Holiday.
Welcome.
Hello, I'm Yana Farella, and I moved to Murrieta 24 years ago.
Could you pull the mic down just a little bit?
I'm sorry?
Pull the mic down towards your, that's better. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Yana Farella. I sent several of you some emails yesterday. I moved to Murrieta 24 years ago to East Side first, and I watched it to almost triple in population. Raising my family here, and I experienced firsthand the growing pains. I volunteered weekly at Rail Ranch Elementary, Monte Vista, and Coal Canyon Elementary. I never forget how relieved we were when Monte Vista Elementary opened, and it saved us a pretty long drive, time in traffic, and kids were so excited to ride their bikes and walk to school. The estimated 30,000 growth mentioned in a response from you guys, it's not going to happen west of Murrieta Creek. I understand that school districts need to make bold decisions at times, but to build a school on the subject property is reckless and irresponsible one. There is a water element here, and it shouldn't be dismissed. The current bridge on Ivy cost $12 million. And that was about 10 years ago. So if you're going to be building new bridge, it's going to be now 25 or maybe $30 million. I attached a few photos of the flood from my backyard. I live in Olive Hill Ranch, and I'm on a Joshua Tree, and my property is ending at Juniper. So my property is subject to major floods. I watched a truckload of sand we used to improve the horse area being washed away with the first heavy rain. And during one powerful storm, I watched large tree trunks and lava rocks this big rolling down the hills onto my property. The area has expansive soil, liquefaction, and the fact the land is in a flood area and behind a creek that turns into a river during a storm would add tremendous cost to the construction. I've loved living in Olive Hill Ranch for the last 15 years, but last 15 winters and rainy seasons were really humbling.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Ron Holiday. So.
Welcome.
Good evening, trustees. I'm Ron Holiday, Murrieta City Council, and also a resident longer than the city's been a city, close to 40 years. During my time here in Murrieta, I've seen the relationship between the school board and the city go from non-existent to tenuous to what it is today, which is, I know Dr. Andrus meets with our city manager on a regular basis. I was dismayed to hear that when the city brought up the issue about infrastructure, comment that was relayed, I'm not sure from whom, was that's a city problem. Well, it's not a city problem, it's all of our problems. School districts and city serve the same people. They're our constituents. We need to be, and we should be, on the same page. And so I encourage you to direct your staff to work with the city. In one of the letters that went out, we offered our expertise. Every single one of the elementary schools that have been built in this city hasn't been all built because of development. A developer came in and said, we'll give you a school site. We'll work with you to build a school site. We have a developer here that's willing to offer the same thing. So I encourage you to work with the city. We need to come together for the benefit of our residents, because I can tell you, city council is on the resident side. Thank you.
The next set of speakers are talking about G1. So we have Christopher Reeves, followed by, I cannot read the writing, something like Eleanor B-R-Y-P. Oh, Eleanor Briggs, okay. Is Christopher Reeves here? Okay, we'll move on to Eleanor Briggs, who will be followed by Rachel Haida.
Hi, President Diffley, board members. I'm Eleanor Briggs, and I love coming to these meetings. This is my 5th one now. And I am so grateful for the people in the room that are part of this community, because I feel their pain. I don't have property on the west side of Murrieta, but let me tell you what, their pain of not having the transparency from the district, not having the communication from the district, is why I am here today. I'm here to talk about, you know, when we first started, is the parental notification policy. I had this whole speech all written out and didn't get a chance to print it, but let me just speak to you from my heart. Mr. Diffley, this is going to be the 3rd time that this same board has voted on the parental notification policy, which is the parent's right to know. And I just saw this form that you guys distributed here at the front thing, that the Murrieta Educators Association is suing the Murrieta Valley Unified School District. So is this why this is on the docket, to rescind? Because, you know, I read through the parental notification policy again today, and there is nothing bad in it. There's everything good about me being involved with my 2 kids who are in the district. I wish the entire community, see, I'm so grateful that these people are here, because the district has not been transparent in communicating that they are endeavoring to take away the rights of parents, and they are coming in, just like this land property purchase, under the radar, under the guise of, hey, we care about your students, so we're gonna kowtow to the state of California and follow AB 1955, rather than say, I will fight for my children, I will fight for my community. You guys are kowtowing. I'm a little impassioned, and I get this way all the time, apparently. Someone has accused me of just telling the same story over and over. You can roll your eyes, Miss Young, because you are one of the ones that have voted against parents. Miss Linda, Miss Lund has voted against parents. How can you do this? How can you do? Look at this community. They are speaking with loud voices. Listen to them.
Okay. So after Rachel Haida, we have John Leonard.
I'm Rachel. I'm a teacher and parent from Murrieta. I remember my very first staff meeting after I got hired in our district. It was not only super exciting, you know, new teacher, but it was memorable. It was mostly memorable because it was a staff meeting focused on building relationships with students. I remember instantly feeling proud to be there, and how amazing this staff meeting was going to be. Can you imagine the impact that teachers can have if they have a strong relationship with their students? Not only will students students trust us, they will respect us, they will even like us, and they will want to come to school every day. Now I want to tell you about someone I know. Full disclosure, he's gay. After telling him that I work with foster kids regularly, he told me a really sad story. He told me that even though he knows his parents love him, but he does not truly know what would have happened to him if he would have outed himself before he was ready or before they were ready. He waited a really long time, actually, to tell his family about his being gay because he doesn't even want to think about, he waited a really long time because of their passion for their religion. He doesn't even want to think about what would have happened if he would have told them before they were ready. Or worse, if someone else would have told them. I do want to end by saying thank you to our district. As a parent in Murrieta for the last 10 years, I have never, ever once felt like I do not have parent rights in our district. Not only that, I have never felt that my students didn't have rights. I feel like our district does a pretty good job keeping parents informed and respecting students and families together. Let's continue allowing teachers to build relationships with our students and keeping them safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
After John Leonard, please be respectful. After John Leonard, we have Beth Fournier.
Good evening.
A moment to get my spectacles here. Okay, I'm disappointed that we find ourselves once again in the position that we're defending the rights of parents to be the decision maker of their own children's affairs. Why are we here again? In my opinion, certain board members are either sympathetic to relinquishing our children to the state or feel that it isn't worth fighting for. I remind the board members that by virtue of their oath of office, they have but one duty: to protect our rights. The threat of lawsuit by Sacramento should be vigorously opposed by this board. The Constitution protects parents' rights as the sole arbiter of their children's affairs. Don't fear the law, use it to your advantage and fight back. Some things are worth fighting for. If this isn't it, then you truly don't deserve the support of your constituents. And just as Sacramento pressures the district from on high, so to speak, the teacher unions pressure you from within. Although they claim to be the supporters of education and collective bargaining for deserving employees of the district, their actions often reveal a far different motivation. Hearing that the Murrieta Educators Association, along with their state and national counterparts, had filed a complaint with the Public Employees Relation Board for unfair practices, I obtained publicly available documentation concerning this action. Our district legal counsel makes quick work revealing this action to be completely frivolous. Quoting from the district's response in part, the charging party's own assertion of fact directly refute their own claim of a violation. The union president was notified on at least 2 occasions by the superintendent and separately by his deputy that the union would be consulted prior to any administrative regulation being implemented to collaborate with the employees' labor groups as needed. No rule, regulation, or stipulation of any labor agreement has been violated, yet the union brings charges for no other reason than to create fear, promote discord, and waste the district's money. The board and its decisions don't waste money, the unions do. And why any board member would be proud of the union's support or accept campaign money from the union speaks volumes for that board member's true allegiance and devotion.
Thank you.
The union needs to stay out of our business.
After Beth Fournier is Todd Fournier.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Beth Fournier. About a month ago, I stood before you to notify you that my rights as a parent with students in the Murrieta Valley Unified School District had been violated, and my family had been discriminated against for our Christian beliefs. Today, I'd like to give a short update. I'm sure you will not be surprised when I tell you that the district or someone representing them conducted an investigation and found that they did nothing wrong. I know, shocker, right? Tonight, I stand before you with a message for the parents in this district. Get involved. This school board is voting tonight to try and revoke a parental notification policy, tongue twister. In layman's terms, this means a board member, or maybe 2, want to remove your rights as parents to be notified about your child's well-being. So let me get this straight. We're notified if they have a headache or get hurt. We're notified if they get in trouble at school. We're notified if their grades drop. But for some reason, this board wants to keep it a secret if your child is having a mental crisis. Parents, if you do not speak up, if you do not get involved, if you do not do your due diligence and research how individual board members vote on issues, they will continue to push the limits until you're left with no rights at all. Make it clear to this board tonight, these children are our children, not your children. And if you do not protect our rights as parents, we will continue to pull our children out of school like we did with my husband and I did with our daughter last month. Thank you.
Thank you.
So after Todd Fournier, we have Yvonne Munoz.
Thank you very much. Thank you, school board. I know that your job is pretty much thankless most of the time, so you probably feel attacked a lot. I want to thank you personally for what you do. I also want to thank all the parents for showing up, because a lot of times that's all we have to do is show up. Just be there for your kids, because you got to be there to understand what's going on in their life. And that's what we want to know. We want to know what's going on in their life. So I get it. Being a kid is tough, especially these days. It's harder now than it was when I grew up. All the social media, all the influences with school friends and family, and now the internet, all the apps, the social media. God, it's got to be tough to be a kid right now. I can't even imagine. But yet, we have to have a village to get these kids to grow up to be humans. All right, they have, being a teacher, it's got to be so tough now too. I applaud everything that you do as teachers. I am thankful you have a gift to reach out to all of the students out there and to hold a class of 30 for an hour. I can't even hold my kids' attention for 30 seconds. So I get it, you have a gift, but we have to work together as a unit to find out what's going on in our kids' lives and to grow these people into human beings. The school board, you're here to represent your constituents, okay? I would be willing to bet that most of the people here are parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles, okay? I can't imagine any one of these relatives that would not want to know what's going on in their child's life, okay? Thank you.
After Yvonne Munoz, we have Jeremy Murphy. Okay, so Jeremy Murphy, followed by Emily Brooks.
Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate the time. I'm a dad of 3 kids in the district, and every time we have these kinds of conversations, I get a little disheartened because it reminds me of the low expectations, the low bar that we set for our students and young adults in our community. You know, we got all this coded rhetoric about well-being and secrets, and at the end of the day, it's bad faith gaslighting. If you look at AB 1955, it simply highlights the importance of a pupil's consent, of a student's consent. But nobody really talks about giving adults autonomy or young adults autonomy and the issues they have with that. You know, people talk about unrealistic hypotheticals or fear-mongering or attacking educators. But what is it about giving a student autonomy that they really take issue with? We are preparing them to be humans, aren't we? And we do have autonomy and agency. I mean, Nick Pardue was just on an alt-right podcast last month where he said, quote, "These are young adults and they should be treated as such. They are adults," unquote. I agree. So maybe we give them some agency, yeah? And just a reminder, I mean, the language in this policy is from Bill Asaley's failed legislation that got killed in committee immediately. And so he circumvented the legislative process to go around it and pushed it into schools at the expense of taxpayers. And Asaley is also one who recently just said publicly that he hopes AB 1955 will defund public schools. So, and I think he's also endorsed some MVUSD candidates. So now almost every district that has a policy with Asaley's language has rescinded it, including Chino. And Nick, you said in March that you want to follow Chino's example. And so this is a great way to follow Chino's example and rescind it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Different topic, Francis Burns on teacher endorsements. It's political. Oh, Emily, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, I forgot and jumped over Emily, so you're after her. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
We will kick you out.
Good evening. I'm very glad to see that you are considering repealing the discriminatory and harmful forced outing policy that you've been so focused on for the past year. As we've seen tonight, you've clearly lost focus on what you should be doing as school board trustees. Providing oversight to ensure our district can continue to provide excellent facilities and academic programs for all of our students. Unfortunately, the need to plan for and accommodate growth was hijacked and held hostage this year by several trustees' radical right-wing agenda. You all took an oath to uphold the law. Well, the law has long recognized the fact that students have rights, despite Mr. Pardue's assertion 2 weeks ago that they must first earn them. Your discriminatory policy tramples those rights for political ends and is just plain wrong. Ms. Vandergrift, I specifically recall one recent meeting where you claimed to have spent nearly all your time in the weeks leading up researching and preparing for that meeting, but your sole focus that night was the culture wars issues you'd placed on the agenda. Mr. Pardue, your social media pages are full of videos promoting your radical agenda, but you haven't been able to bring about the fiscal responsibility you claim to want because you're too busy focusing on taking rights away from students and getting a case to the Supreme Court. Please spend less time making those videos and more time studying the issues that actually matter. Your support for the property purchase this past summer while simultaneously voting to block the community from voting on a bond to construct a school on that property was unconscionable and has only led to more conflict and confusion rather than practical common sense solutions. Thank you.
Thank you.
What did you say? Well, there's still a lot left. What's your name? I just haven't gotten to it yet. We had 55 cards, so we have Francis Burns followed by Emily Brooks.
Welcome.
Thank you, President Diffley. Good evening, board members. Good evening, Dr. Andrus. Dr. Andrus, thank you very much for the kind note that you sent in the mail, and I'm really excited about the sticker too. The reason I'm speaking really isn't for the board. I'm actually really speaking for the audience and for the public listeners at home. So as a teacher in this district, as I drive around the community, I notice there are some signs, and some of the signs read teacher support, and then there's 3 board member candidates' names.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
That's getting into political stuff.
What I'm talking about, the teacher's endorsement.
John Pratt, would you pause, please? Mr. Pearl?
Yeah. If he ties it to something that the board has jurisdiction over, the fact that there's a political mention as part of that, I think is permissible, and we need to lean on the side of First Amendment expression, especially during the public comments section.
Does the board have
Thank you.
jurisdiction over the union's endorsements?
It's
yeah.
As far as he is speaking as an employee and also as a citizen, and I would say that there is jurisdiction as far as employer-employee relations go. I would recommend that the board err on the side of hearing the comments for 2 minutes tonight.
Can I recommend we start the time over, though, because
Yeah,
it got a lot of eaten up. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Pearl, and thank you, Board Member Lund. So the reason I'm speaking is because as a teacher, I've noticed that there are signs in the district that say teacher support, and then there's 3 candidate names there. And so I feel like this is a little bit misleading because when the MEA decides to support teachers, they do so because the executive board makes those decisions. It's not because they solicited feedback from all of the teachers, or even because they decided that all of the candidates would go through some objective process to get this support. A few members of the executive board decided to make this decision, and they did so based on their own perspectives and their own values. So what I'm concerned about is what the community members see these signs that they think that either a consensus or even a majority of teachers actually support these board members. But that's not actually the case. There are many teachers, such as myself, who support other board members. So I just want the listening public to be aware of that, and I want to encourage the listening public to do their own due diligence and to actually research, because there are plenty other of candidates that are available to be board members this coming election. So that's basically all I have to say. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
So we are in, our topic is general. I have Emily Brooks, followed by Kelly Parsons.
Welcome.
Hello.
Different topic. General, what's general? A lot of people wrote general on theirs, so I don't know.
Point of order. There has been a lot of comments coming from the audience to the board. I think, Mr. Diffley, you need to remind people that this is the board's meeting, and there shouldn't be those kind of interruptions during the public comments section.
Thank you. I thought I was at a baseball game, but thank you for that, because it was pretty loud, and come on. Go ahead, please.
Hi again. I'd like to speak tonight about the scurrilous and libelous statements made at last month's board meeting by trustees Pardue, Vandergrift, and their followers. They accused Trustee Lunn, candidate Yvonne Munoz, and Superintendent Andrews of violating the law by attending a CSEA lunch meeting before school started in August. All 5 board members were invited to attend that meeting, but Vandergrift and Pardue chose not to. As you all know, CSEA followed proper channels to reserve the space and get permission to hold the meeting. The employees attended during their lunch break, and everything was done in accordance with board policy and education code. Despite that, at the September 12th board meeting, Vandergrift and Pardue, as well as several public speakers they had urged to attend, alleged criminal activity by Ward, Linda, Yvonne, and CSEA during that meeting. Vandergrift and Pardue announced this action was at least a misdemeanor or even a felony. Pardue said the DA should investigate. Public speakers repeatedly alleged this action is putting the district in a legally compromised situation and urged accountability. The comments were scurrilous and libelous and just plain wrong. Let me be clear. The folks who attended that union meeting followed all the rules. More importantly, they are protected by their First Amendment rights to freedom of speech and freedom of assembly to hold meetings and say whatever they want during those meetings. Those rights should not be threatened with legal action by governing officials in a public meeting just because those officials don't like what might have been said. I was very pleased to see that the board issued a statement this week confirming that no legal action was needed because everything was above board with that union meeting. I was disappointed, however, to see that that statement only referenced the negative comments made by public commenters and not the more scurrilous ones repeated by trustees Pardue and Vandergrift. I urge you both tonight to formally apologize for your comments, and I challenge you both to sign on to the Code of Fair Campaign Practices statement as your opponents and all other MBUSD candidates have done. Thank you.
Thank you.
After Kelly Parsons, we have Greg Langworthy.
Welcome.
Hello. Happy times. What a great start to the school year. I have been to many school events, and everyone has shared, both parents and students and staff, what a fantastic start to this school year. I can't tell you how much joy our site, Vista Murrieta, has experienced this school year. It feels pre-pandemic. I want to tell you a little bit about, we use a system called 5-Star. So that allows us to see how our students are doing. It allows us to track how many minutes they've been gone in the bathroom. It's fantastic. And we here at Vista have Link Crew. Our juniors and seniors who are a part of Link Crew reach out to our freshmen. We were able to pull data that we have just about, I think it's 921 freshman students, because we are the biggest school in the district. And out of those, there are 170 freshmen who haven't gotten involved yet. So this week, my Link Crew team sent notes and candy to those kiddos to make sure that they knew of our upcoming Spirit Week and the ways that they could get involved on campus. I also have to tell you, as a proud monarch mom, I have to brag about Lisa J. Males. Our fun run raised $70,000. Whoop, whoop. And that same night, so my kids ran in the morning, and I got to then take my daughter over to Vista Murrieta. She had attended the cheer clinic, which, holy smoke, was that a fun day. She got her pink out pom-poms and her little shirt, and so she went to perform at the halftime show for our pink out game. I just love our district, both as mom and as a teacher, and I can't tell you how proud I am to be raising my children in a district that believes in every kid learning to think, learn, achieve, and care. Have a great night.
Thank you. So after Greg Langworthy, we will have Jack Guerrero. That was Kelly Parsons. So we have to think for that one. That was Kelly Parsons.
So just two brief comments. One, I'm reading from Robert's Rules of Order. One of the difficult things at a board meeting, of course, you guys get the brunt of this, is
Could you speak just a little louder?
one of the difficult things at a board meeting is, and you guys get the brunt of it, are maybe the personal attacks. So this, I'm just reading from Robert's Rules of Order, page 180. In debate, a member must confine himself to the question before the assembly and avoid personalities. In referring to another member, he should, as much as possible, avoid using his name, rather referring to him as member who spoke last or some other way describing him. It's not allowable to arraign the motives of a member, but the nature or consequence of a measure may be condemned in strongest terms. It's not the man, but the measure that's a subject of debate. And I think that's where we have a debate on this issue of parental rights. In my mind, it's the issue that we need to focus on. When I'm still a dad, but when my kids were growing up, the issue, it was very simply teamwork. Teachers are teaming with mom and dad to raise the child, but teamwork is not possible if there's not communication. You've got to know what's going on at school or else you can't help. And then the teacher is teaming with you, a partnership. And so that really is the issue at hand, is do we as a school have responsibility to discuss everything with the parent who is ultimately responsible for the education of the child? So thank you.
Thank you.
After Jack Guerrero will be Lucky Hartunian.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, board, ladies and gentlemen. A few very quick comments. First of all, on the real property at Ivy and Hayes, I want to echo the community sentiment. I think that you have rushed into a decision that you will regret. And I want to hone in as well on the $7.5 million purchase price, which is well above the market rate. We need to get to the bottom of why you converged on $7.5 million, and I am demanding immediate release of the appraisal reports that were used as the basis for the negotiation. Next, on the parental notification item, BP 5020, I am here to encourage you to preserve that policy as much as possible. It is so important that we communicate solidarity with the residents of this community and make it very clear that children are better off when their families and their parents are involved in their education. That is critical. Now, if you need to make any modification to the policy, I would respectfully submit the following compromise. Perhaps at section 1A, you can introduce the following clause, to the extent permissible under law, comma. What this does is it hones in specifically on section 1A, which is the one that pertains to gender identity and gender expression, and it leaves everything else intact, including the very reasonable notification areas for violence and harassment and suicide prevention and bullying, etc. None of those are at risk None of those have legal impediments for implementation, so we should preserve those as much as possible. And the clause that I'm recommending at least provides some elasticity with respect to the execution of the policy, subject or commensurate with the adjudication process, as some of these issues are processed through the courts. Finally, I would like to commend Board Members Pardue and Board Member Vandergrift for voting down the bond measure. It was egregious, it was unlawful, and I want to really commend them for doing their job as required under the law.
Once again,
Someone handed this to me. I
if you
thought it
want
was
to
perfect to ask
knock
you
off-
these
excuse
questions
me,
before
hold
I
on.
represent.
Hold on.
What's your
I'll let you
problem?
do it. Come on, folks. As I alluded to, this is not a baseball game. Let's keep the thing quiet and respectful and a regular meeting. I think every one of us is capable of doing that. And I firmly believe that some of the ill-tempered things of actions will subside. Certainly, I hope so. Hi, welcome.
And after the next speaker will be Elijah Dubisky.
Someone handed this to me, and I thought this would be good to show you. Okay? Especially on what I'm going to talk about. I'd like for you to write this law down because it's vital. It's the PICO Case Law 457 US 853. It was approved by the United States Supreme Court on June 25th, 1982, and is still in effect. It indicates the authority of school boards can remove inappropriate books. Books must align with the educational mission and meet the needs of our students, considering the educational value and suitability of books. This is being used in a lot of districts in order to change the filthy books that we're dealing with. Many districts are putting this law into effect, removing all race theory, which is theory, woke ideology, which is ideology, porn children's storybooks that teach children it's okay to have graphic sex, rape, gender, confusion, and on it goes. And you're wondering why these children are having issues in the classroom with teachers? You had a teacher telling you that, and here it is in the newspaper. It's not only here in Murrieta that the students are going after their teachers. It's all over the United States because of what is taking place, of what these children are being taught. I mean, one male student pushed a classmate through a glass window,
Thank
stabbed a
you.
teacher with
Thank
a
you.
pencil.
Wait a minute.
Quiet, please.
Before you leave, would you repeat the
Would you like-
citation again?
The law of the PICO Case Law?
Yeah.
PICO Case Law 457 US 853.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Francis Burns is next.
Elijah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did it again. I apologize, Elijah.
From what I've been hearing, the person who originally got the property purchased it for about $3 million, and the school board wants to spend $7.5 million on it. The district hasn't been transparent on this whole situation. What secrets are you hiding? What is so incredible about this property? If the school district wants to overspend like this, there are many, many more options than just that property. There is such a thing as supply and demand. I would bet that there are many other property owners would jump at the chance to sell a property for that much. That property owner would be gaining a $6 million profit, give or take. For 20 acres, meanwhile, the people will be expected to essentially pay for it and everything else. The school district could easily get another property for less than that. And the backup plan is to sell the property if it becomes too expensive to build upon it. Who will be able to buy it? let alone who would be suckers enough to buy it back. The board needs to do research first. Linda, Paul, Nancy, I would like to remind you three of the definition of a trustee once again. An individual person or member of a board given control or powers of administration of property in trust with a legal obligation to administer it solely for the purposes specified. The actions of this board epitomize government overspending. The school board is supposed to be on the side of the community. That includes me. I may not be a homeowner, but I'm still part of this community. You're not on the side of the school district. The administration is the one that takes care of the school district. It makes me wonder if Darren Daniel and Ward Andreas would spend their own money as recklessly as this. You three act as sheep, buying to whatever orders your shepherd gives you. That's not how someone in a leadership position is supposed to act. I would hope you all do some self-reflection. Think about future generations instead of your agendas. And to speak briefly about the parent notification topic, the district does not take the role of the parents.
So after Francis Burns, we have Jolene Cochran.
Thank you, audience. That's better.
Hello again. Thank you for allowing me to speak again. So about a month ago, I was here and I was talking about some issues that I had, related to student discipline. 2 weeks ago, you guys had a special board meeting, and one of the agenda items was student discipline, student support. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it, but I did listen at home. I was very impressed with Ryan Tukwa's presentation, and I wasn't surprised. And it does show to the public, what a comprehensive plan we do have in place for student support and for behavior. What I was a little disappointed about was that there wasn't, following that, there wasn't a robust discussion amongst the board about some of the grave concerns that I had raised a couple of weeks before. Now, I only have a minute left this evening, so I can't rehash all of that. But what I'm asking you to do with as utmost respect as I can is please revisit this again as soon as possible. The issues that I raised are real. They're not manufactured. I didn't just make this up because I have nothing better to do with my time. These are actually happening to real teachers, real students, real staff members, and they need to be addressed. And so that's what I would like you to do. So I just wanted to remind you of that at the moment. I'll be back soon. I'll be talking about this again. And hopefully, I know that some of my colleagues, they've been encouraged to email you. I don't know if you've received any emails about this or not, but please look for them in the future. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
After Jolene Cochran, we have Jose Carreño.
This won't take long. I've done this to you before, I'm gonna do it again. It's ironic to me how you like to make it seem like you really care about children and their independence and keeping secrets from parents and yada, 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 because they're so mature. But one of the own board members sitting up here is the most immature human being I think I've ever witnessed on a board, ever. And I've been going to board meetings since, what would you say, 5 years old? And I've seen probably thousands of board meetings, and you are still the most immature board member I've ever seen in my entire life. If you keep rolling your eyes, actually, I kind of want you to at this point, because it only proves my point, that you're too immature to be up there. Grow up.
So after Jose Carreño, we have Steve Campos.
Welcome.
No.
Go ahead.
Good evening. So I was going to speak on two topics.
Just
I was going to speak on two topics, but apparently one is settled. One was about that alleged meeting on school property that where electioneering may have taken place. But apparently the previous speaker said you guys are done with your investigation, and have sent out emails that it's all done. I'd like to know where I can get a copy of that, because I've been trying to keep up with this stuff, and nothing's happened. I mean, I don't know of anything that's resulted. I'd like to know some facts, okay? So if I could find out what the result of that was, or if I have to wait for the DA to put out his report, whatever. So my second subject that I wanted to talk about was union company board relations. So I was a member of the union for 38 years for CWA. And every few years, we endured our strikes, our contract disputes. Managers negotiated on behalf of the stockholders, union on behalf of the union members, as it should be, adversarial relationship. But when I compare this to the board's union relationship, it's not quite the same, unfortunately. Large amounts of union money are given to selected candidates running for the board seats. If elected, that trustee gets to vote on approving union contracts. So after digging into the County of Riverside Registrar of Voters site, I found that 2 of our current members are heavily funded by union money, Ms. Lund and Ms. Young. This sounds a little incestuous. Whose interests are these board members really representing? The parents or those who they rely on for funding their election? This may be legal, but does it seem ethical? A lot of things are legal but shouldn't be done. If I started yelling profanities in front of your children, that would be legal, but it shouldn't be done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
After Steve Campos, we have Jeremy Murphy.
Welcome.
Good evening, thank you. First of all, shout out to Eleanor, way to get briggy with it, so that was excellent out there. And the first thing I want to talk about is parental notification. As you guys are making decisions tonight, understand that whatever decision you make is going to follow you on election day, because there's a vast amount of people in this community who understand the parental situation. And you can't separate kids from their parents. I'm a parent, teacher, I'm all of it, and I understand, I'm a board member, I understand the importance of that. And tonight, as you guys make your votes, just know that your future will depend on that when it comes to the ballot box. Now, speaking of elections, some of your union-endorsed candidates, and those of you union members who are out there, I'm a proud union member, but I'm also an ethical one. And I also understand that there's a lot of candidates that are being endorsed. One, you might want to look at their work history. So one of the candidates that's endorsed by MEA has been released from a school district as a teacher. And now that person is being endorsed by the union. The political backgrounds, past 2 years, there's been shenanigans going on with the PAC. And the 2 mentioned board members have been involved in that. Understand, union members, that these people do not represent you. Make sure that you guys are smart with your decision making. There's a board member, people say it's not political. There's a board member sitting up there right now who is a delegate to the California Democrat Party. Just understand that. So when people say things, understand there's politicalness in everything. And you as a community need to understand who you're voting for on November 5th, or hopefully before. Make sure you get it in there. Board members, I recommend that you guys speak with your financial advisor, because that person is someone who your assistant superintendent of fiscal or whoever your CBO is should be bringing that person to your attention so you understand how money is being spent. And that way you guys can keep yourself out of the community situation and just understanding the purchase of the property. And the last thing, Red with Ed is dead.
After Jeremy Murphy, we have Chris Tomasian.
Hey, I appreciate the time again. I'm a dad of 3 kids in the district. I just want to touch on the land purchase. You know, I've lived in growing districts that have not been proactive, and I just want to say I appreciate the board's proactive approach to keeping a growing school district competitive. I know redistricting and new construction are 2 issues that are pretty contentious for boards to address. So, and I know it takes years. And some speakers talked about not wanting to play catch up, so I appreciate the board trying to avoid playing catch up with enrollment. It does look like the process started in February, and it looks like there's a property selection hearing coming up in November. So unless I understand that incorrectly, the public will get a chance to voice their opinions again in November. I also wanted to talk about last meeting when Nick Pardue and Julie Vandergrift defamed board members and community members who participated in the CSEA meeting in August. It's just disheartening to see elected officials resort to cursory readings of ed code in trying to convey some sort of impropriety or wrongdoing. You know, although I did appreciate legal counsel correcting Nick when he threw around terms like serious and felony. You know, in the past, Nick and Julie, you guys have encouraged professionalism, and we need to stop the divisiveness. And so I think a part of that would be stop playing armchair legal expert, you know, and being a living example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. You know, I'll just leave you with this, though. I know I'm a fan of Thomas Sowell, so Nick and Julie, here's a quote from Thomas Sowell, quote, "It takes considerable knowledge just to realize the extent of your ignorance," unquote. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, after Chris Tomasian, we have Yvonne Munoz.
Welcome.
Thank you. At the September 12th meeting, Mr. Pardue, Ms. Vandergrift, and their supporters accused Linda Lunn, Yvonne Munoz, and Ward Andrus, and our non-teaching employees of breaking the law. Perhaps it was even a felony, Pardue and Vandergrift claimed. The accusations stem from a CSCA meeting held before school started and with an approved Civic Center use permit. This is the permit the churches and youth sports leagues obtain to use school facilities during non-school hours. Did you, Nick, or you, Julie, check with anyone regarding the meeting's legality before you urged your supporters to engage in slander? Now, tonight we have residents of the West Side here concerned about the potential for a new school site. It's interesting that they didn't know about this until very recently. This site, along with two others, were identified by parcel number on your May meeting public agenda for closed session. The site was on your June closed session agenda as well. There is time set aside for public comment on closed session items, and that was the time for the residents to provide input. Mr. Pardue and Mr. Diffley, you should have notified your constituents back in May that a site in their neighborhood was being considered and not wait until a city council member notified them. Mr. Pardue, your attendance at a neighborhood meeting where you claimed to know very little about this purchase was disingenuous. From being on the board for over 20 years, I know the superintendent keeps board members up to date on important matters, and no doubt you knew about this for months. Mr. Diffley, you also should have made the effort in May to let your constituents know and not wait until a city council meeting public comment opportunity last week. Again, this conduct smacks of election time campaigning rather than real concern for your constituents. Thank you.
Okay. Yvonne is not here, so we have Jamie Goebel. And that's the last comment.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm a teacher here in the district, and I'm here tonight to address some concerns regarding Julie Vandergrift's recent votes on the board. Let's start with her voting for illegal policies that's cost the districts tens of thousands of dollars. Next, let's talk about you taking away the right of our citizens to vote by not even giving them that right to vote. These decisions raise serious questions about her judgment and commitment to our public education. Does she even have a commitment to this board and to public education? It's worth noting that Ms. Vandergrift's children have never attended public school. They have been homeschooled throughout their entire education. How can she effectively advocate for policies that impact public school students when she nor her students have ever experienced that environment? Her decision to forego board member trainings indicates a lack of commitment to understanding educational policies, governance, and effective leadership. She does not attend school functions and events in this district. She does not attend the district's African American Parent Advisory Committee. She does not attend the Latino Parent Advisory Committee. She does not attend the English Language Learner Parent Advisory Committee. She does not attend the Special Education Parent Advisory Committee either. She chooses to miss critical opportunities to connect with educators, families, and students, which are essential for fostering a collaborative environment. We deserve board members who truly understand and prioritize public education for all. It's time for us to hold our leaders accountable.
It's over.
Now we'll move on to E4, which is employee organization reports. And we'll hear first from Lisa Murray, President of the Murrieta Educators Association. Lisa?
Thank you, President Diffley. I had a lovely speech planned. I'm not going to read it. Instead, I'm going to address a couple of things. Thank you. Just mark something on my bingo card. Thank you. Mr. Burns, you've chosen to not be a member of the Murrieta Educators Association, which you have every right to do. However, you do not have a right to speak for our members. We go through a very tedious process of interviewing anybody who comes to us seeking our endorsement. Our PAC committee works very hard to interview those people and make a recommendation to the executive board, who then takes a vote of the representative council, representative of the people at their sites who voted for them. Do not speak for my members. The members of our association, no matter who we endorse or why, have a right to have signs in the community, just like the parents do. Our signs do not say all teachers, just like the other signs do not say all parents. And they clearly identify that they are paid for by our association and our members. The second thing I'd like to address are the comments. I want to clarify comments and the written document the district has distributed. Our chapter filed a PERB charge to ensure the district follows the process required by state law when it makes new mandates for teachers. There is a requirement under the law that the district bargains with the association when there is a change in working conditions. There are many parent notification policies in school board policy already in place and in state law. We support compliance with these policies and laws. Lastly, I'm extremely disgusted that there are members in this audience who would boo a teacher who speaks during public comment, who has just as much a right to speak freely as the rest of you do. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. We will next hear from Cheryl Alvarado.
Thank you, Board. I'm here in place of Freddie Muscosa, our union president and the first VP of the CSEA Chapter 223. This was quite an experience tonight, so thank you very much for the board and for all of the community members that came out to speak and exercise your right for that. I appreciate that. President Diffley, board members, and Dr. Andrus, good evening. CSEA would like to express our gratitude to the district for their collaborative efforts in supporting our classified staff, and we mean that sincerely. Thanks to this support, we have been able to achieve some great things for our classified employees. Moving forward, CSEA is eager to continue efforts in building relationships with our administration, teams, district administrators, school board members. We encourage all of our board to allocate time during your site visits to get to know our dedicated staff. This will not only foster a sense of community, but also align with our shared mission to inspire every student to think, to learn, to achieve, and to care. By working together and understanding each other's roles, we can create a more supportive and inclusive environment for all members of our school community. Thank you very much.
Item F, consent calendar. Items are voted on collectively as a group. Upon board member request, items may be removed from the consent calendar for discussion and individual action. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar items F1 through F5 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Approval to rescind Board Policy 5020.1, parental notification. This calls for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments?
Yeah, I would like to speak to this issue. Parent notification is something that, as mentioned earlier, 3 times I think this has come to our attention. And one of the things I think is really important for the audience to know, this came up so that we could be transparent as a school district. It's unfortunate that we have a state that wants to control our schools and everything that happens here. It's, for those of you who don't know, AB 1955 was passed almost directly at our school district and others who tried to communicate with parents what's happening with their students on campuses. I'm a firm believer, and I believe in the Constitution. I know that these parental rights will hold up in court. There is nothing illegal about a parental notification, because you have a constitutional right to raise your children according to your customs and values. Period. End of sentence. And as long as your child is under your care, you have those rights, and you should definitely stand up for them. I'm so glad that we have so many community members out tonight, because our district does need to work harder on transparency. It's a very important issue. There are so many different things that come up. And really, as one community member said, can I ask a question? It doesn't really work that way. It's a weird thing. And there are so many issues that came up tonight that I really wish I could address directly. The DA investigation is ongoing. Yes, it's inappropriate for school facilities be used for political campaigns. It's completely inappropriate. It's inappropriate for a superintendent to be on pages promoting candidates. It's inappropriate. There's a lot of inappropriate things happening. It's inappropriate to covertly put property out there in expectations that a bond would be passed and not being transparent with all the board members of exactly what's happening. I'm just going to tell you, transparency is an issue, and that's the point.
Point of order.
Sure.
I do believe members have to, I would recommend that the board members speak to the item that's on the agenda. And it seems like this is a greatest hits of all the issues before the board.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Parental rights are important. We'll stick with that. And I'll wait for my closing arguments to hit my greatest hits.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I would just like to summarize real quick here, hopefully, what's on the agenda here for this item. So on August 10th, 2023, the governing board of the Murrieta Valley Unified School District adopted Board Policy 5020.1, parental notification. The policy was never put into effect while the district monitored the legal landscape surrounding similar policies adopted throughout the state of California. And so anyway, the third paragraph talks about AB 1955. So I just kind of want to add a little bit of detail to that. So the two reasons, the legal landscape that I think we're referring to here, and you can read, actually, Dr. Andrus, the community notification that is going to actually go out has an alteration from what's posted, correct?
That's correct. The current copy of the notification is in the foyer.
Okay, so the updated one is in, okay, great. Okay, so yeah, so definitely take a look at that. But so as we talk about AB 1955, and so that's one of the two legal situations going on right now. AB 1955 doesn't go into effect until January. However, apparently the position of Governor Gavin Newsom is that it was already, they're saying that it's not making new law, that the policy was already illegal. If I understand that correctly, I could be wrong. But anyway, the second one was what I actually want to talk about. It's the PERB unfair practice charge number LACE 6836E. And that's available via public records request. Any member of the public can go to the PERB website and put that in there, and they can get all the documents that have been filed with PERB in that case. So just to put a little focus on what that is, it is an action between Murrieta Educators Association, CTA, which is, I believe, the California Teacher Association, and NEA, which is the National Education Association, so the local, state, and federal unions. And so I have a little bit of a timeline here, how this happened. So on August 9th, 2023, the board passed the policy 5020.1. 2 days later, on August 11th, the assistant superintendent sent an email to the president of MEA offering an opportunity for MEA to demand to bargain the effects and impacts of the parental notification policy. This is all publicly available information. On August 13th, the charging party, which would be MEA, CTA, and NEA through its president, informed the district that, quote, "We really appreciate the open communication," unquote, and acknowledge the district's offer to bargain the implementation of the parental notification policy. And then on September 6th, 2023, what they're calling, it's the MEA, the CTA, and the NEA, they filed case number LACE 6836E, titled "An Unfair Practice Charge," alleging a violation of Government Code Section 3543.5C, breach of duty to bargain in good faith. So that's what the complaint is about. And then on October 9th, the district position statement filed with PERB states, quote, "Charging party has made no attempt to schedule a meeting or solicit a meeting to negotiate the effects or impacts of the parental notification policy. Notwithstanding the above, the parental notification policy has not been implemented, and the district's offer to bargain the implementing administrative regulation is still open and available." So anyway, the solution is actually very simple. The policy can be bargained at any time, and we can implement 5020 with an AR, as I think one of the commenters said, to the extent allowable by the law. So there really is no reason to rescind. We can bargain, as we've offered before, and we can therefore serve the families, the children, the parents, the taxpayers, and the community, as opposed to being held hostage to these two legal actions. Anyway, thank you.
Would you mention briefly what will happen if this is passed?
So those are some items that were discussed in closed session with legal counsel. So discuss them openly in public would not be appropriate. So that for that purpose, we've provided a notice for people to review.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Any other comments? Roll call vote. Mr. Diffley, yes. Mrs. Lunn?
Yes.
Mr. Pardue?
No.
Mrs. Vandegrift?
No.
Mrs. Young?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-2. Julie, did you get that? Okay, good. I was going to give it to you if you didn't. G2 is the approval of personnel report. This calls for motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Adoption of resolution number 24/25-09. Early notification incentive of intent to retire/resign. This calls for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments?
I just want to thank Mr. Rideout, space your name there, for doing this. This is just a nice opportunity for the people that want to take advantage of it. And I know it also is financially beneficial to the district as well, and it benefits the people who take advantage of it. So I really like that we always offer this.
Yeah, I would echo those sentiments. It's a good thing for everyone involved. Any other comments? No. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 5-0. Approval of amendment to employment contract for District Superintendent Dr. Ward Andrus, effective July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2026. And I will briefly, well, I should say I will read this. It isn't quite briefly, but here is our comment. Finishing his second year as superintendent of the Murrieta Valley Unified School District, Dr. Andrus has shown considerable expertise managing all aspects of the district. In addition to building trust with and giving valuable training to 3 new board members, Dr. Andrus continues to emphasize student achievement using data-driven information, at the same time investigating new innovative methods for reaching all students, including those students who struggle. The board recognizes that as an asset to the district, Dr. Andrus demonstrates vision, evidence-based decision-making, and determination in developing a coherent instructional educational plan. We look forward to the continued success of the Murrieta Valley Unified School District in the 2024-25 school year, with Dr. Andrus leading the team as superintendent. Bullet points specifically.
No, I don't. Not.
You didn't have to read all of that. The first paragraph is sufficient.
You're okay with it?
Yeah. I know you wrote them. Or
That's
you
fine.
guys collaborated.
All right.
It's getting late.
Yeah.
It's late. I thought we'd go to the morning, but that's all right. This calls for a motion.
You need to, Mr. Rideout has something to read.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
So tonight, the board, I have to read a statement prior to an oral summary of the contract before you vote on it tonight. So tonight, the board is considering an amendment to the superintendent's employment agreement, both effective July 1, 2024. Prior to taking final action, Government Code Section 54953 requires an oral summary of the recommendation for approval on the salaries, salary schedules, or compensation paid in the form of fringe benefits of a local agency executive during open session of a regular meeting in which the final action is to be taken. Accordingly, I'm providing an oral summary of the recommendation being considered by the board today. As reflected on the amendment, the superintendent's annual salary shall be $352,146 effective July 1, 2024, and becomes $355,668 effective January 1, 2025. The superintendent shall receive a one-time off-schedule 1% payment. The amendment also modifies retiree health benefits eligibility to be consistent with the terms applicable to other certificated management employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Did we do a motion?
Oh, wait a minute. We call for a motion, sorry.
Moved. Second. Now.
Trying to stretch it till morning. All right.
Can I have a comment, actually?
Yes, please.
That was, I do think the public needs to know, as a board, most people know it's a divided board. It was one of the most torturous things that I have gone through as a board member, is trying to go through this process. And with that being said, I think that's all I really need to say. The report that's given is the best we could do considering what's going on. Hopefully we can have more of a working relationship moving forward in trying to evaluate a superintendent.
My comment is this. The board was reluctant to spend $5,000 for a professional to come in and guide the board with the...
Is this closed session information?
Probably it would be better if you
Could we just,
didn't include any of that additional information.
maybe we should just vote.
Just vote.
We could vote.
Okay. Anyhow, we did it ourselves.
Call the question.
Yes, go ahead.
I call the question.
Call the question. We have a motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Opposed?
One opposed.
Yes, thank you. Motion carries 4-1. Approval of amendment to employment contract for District Superintendent Dr. Ward Andrus, effective July 1, 2022.
Oh,
The
we're
next
on G5. The adoption of resolution number,
Well, we didn't do, well, all right.
we just finished G4.
Same thing. Well. G5, adoption of resolution number 24/25-10, approving the 2025/26 California Department of Education Child Development application to provide state preschool services. This calls for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries 5-0. G6, student discipline expulsion case number 2024-2025-134.
I move that the Board of Education of Murrieta Valley Unified School District expel the student for the violation of California Education Code 48900.4.7 and A1 under Education Code 48915B for the remainder of the current semester and all of the second semester of 2024-2025 school year.
Any comments?
Well, second.
Gotta be a little faster there. Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 5-0. Student G7, student disciplines stipulated expulsion case number 2024-2025-136.
I move that the Board of Education of the Murrieta Valley Unified School District expel the student for the violation of California Education Code 48900 A1 and .7 under Education Code Section 48915B for the remainder of the current semester and all of the second semester of the 2024-2025 school year.
May I have a second?
I second that.
Thank you. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries 5-0. G8, Williams Uniform Complaints Quarterly Report. The board has received this report. G9, approval of additive and deductive change orders for contract C 0000867, 870, 876, 877, 880, and 882 for the Murrieta Elementary New Classroom Building Project. This calls for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries 5-0. G10, approval of the appointment of a member to the Citizens Oversight Committee for the Measure BB General Obligation Bond. Mr. Mario Cobian. This calls for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments?
Welcome, Mr. Cobian. Glad to have you.
It's a great public service.
It
It's a
is.
great help to everyone.
It is.
And is just another proof of the fact that we provide oversight by citizens who volunteer. We didn't pick them, they picked us. We have a motion and a second.
So moved. Oh,
Second, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Did we do that already?
Maybe we did.
Okay, we just need to vote then.
Motion and a second, right?
Yes, just need a vote.
That's what I thought. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 5-0. G11, adoption of resolution number 24/25-11, resolution of the Board of Education of the Murrieta Valley Unified School District authorizing the execution and delivery of a lease and sublease agreement and related documents and actions. This calls for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries 5-0. Now, don't jump up out of your seats, folks, because I'm going to read the word adjourn. Board of Education meeting. The Board of Education meeting will be temporarily adjourned at 7:50 p.m. to conduct business as the Murrieta Valley Unified School District Public Financing Authority. Call to order the Murrieta Valley Unified School District Public Financing Authority meeting. I hereby, I did that, yeah. A quorum is present with all members in attendance.
At 7:50 p.m.
Thank you.
Okay.
Adoption of the resolution.
I mean, again. Skip. That's what I thought. Okay. Couple of things weird on here. 1.2, adoption of resolution number PFA 24/25-01, resolution of the Board of Directors of the Murrieta Valley Unified School District Public Financing Authority authorizing the execution and delivery of a lease and sublease agreement and related documents and actions. This calls for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 5-0. Item J, this adjourns the Murrieta Valley Unified School District Public Finance Authority meeting and reconvenes the Board of Education meeting. I hereby adjourn the Murrieta Valley Unified Board School District Public Financing Authority meeting and reconvene the Board of Education meeting at 7:53 p.m. Okay, Superintendent report.
Thank you, President Diffley, and to the community members who are still here, and to our trustees who are enduring a longer meeting tonight. I just want to report to the community. I appreciate the community supporting our schools. I've been out, I've seen our booster clubs and PTAs and PTCs doing great work with our schools for fundraisers, everything from, band booster clubs at games to PTAs. I have granddaughters who are at Antelope Hills, and like was announced, Lisa J did really well on theirs. Antelope Hills did over $60,000 of donations for kids running circles around the field. It's kind of funny how we convince old people to put up money to watch kids run around, and younger people. And then we go out and watch them do it, and it was a lot of fun. So that's happening. I think Tovashal is doing their fun run tomorrow, and there are more. Those are just the ones I know about. So we appreciate all that tremendous work. What I recently sent a message to all of our booster and PTA, parent-teacher organization presidents, and stated to them, they said, you do what simply we cannot do on our own. And so it's with that parent support for those extra things, those classroom projects, volunteering in the classrooms are just such the things that make it such a rich experience for our students and for our teachers and our staff to participate together. So we appreciate the community doing that. We're glad to share our schools and the community. All of our buildings, all of them, are open for civic center use, and they're used all the time. All the time. And as I shared with someone, it's not just we have our classrooms and cafeterias during the day, but it's in the evenings as well. And you drive by any one of our schools in the evening, you see lots of clubs, and people have brought on portable lights because we don't have lights on our fields and certain places for practice, and on and on. And on weekends, churches use our facilities, and it's great. It really is great. That's what these buildings are for, and they're built to be able to do that. They're built to be significant so they can withstand and take all that use. And we're responsible to make sure that they're all safe and that there's toilet paper in the bathrooms and they're clean every night because they get used every single day. And so I appreciate the staff. I can't imagine, well, the number of rolls of paper towels we go through is pretty phenomenal. In this school district. And so all of those supplies are taken care of, and we're glad to share our buildings, the school district buildings with the community because, like was mentioned earlier, we are part of the community. I visited a dozen classrooms the past 2 weeks and seen firsthand the work that teachers are doing related to their professional learning teams. I've seen evidence of what they are doing being played out during classroom instruction. It's really pretty great. I've seen students working in packets and lessons based on the teacher's professional collaboration about initial instruction and intervention and enrichment. And in talking with teachers, they said, oh yeah, we built this together in our PLT time. And now we're putting it in place. And it's a chance to reteach things that need more help and stretch learning where it's needed. And so I see our teachers really taking advantage of that time. And in time, even as early as this year and this next month, we'll see those benefits of our students continue to achieve because of that diligent work. So thank you for our staff that's doing that and leading that. I've also visited elementary playgrounds and observed this playground foundation activity where students are taught how to play certain games. I really appreciate the chill zone, the one with the folding chairs and the pop-up canopy. That looks really, I thought they were for the adults, but it's not. It's for the kids. And so it's great to see the young people have lots of choices, and they seem to be really enjoying the many options that they have. And what we're hearing is there are many less conflicts. They're able to resolve them on the playground and get that taken care of as they learn to work together about who was out, and they do the rock, paper, scissors thing, and it solves the problem quickly. With the board's votes tonight to finance the purchase of a local church property, not the one that we were talking about with our community members, Ivy and Hayes, this is a different property that was just approved. We'll soon have a new permanent home for the family services division of the school district. Family services, all the preschool, before and after school programs. They've been operating out of 25-year-old portables that was once Tovashal on the side of Avaha. And they only have 5 classrooms they can operate because that's all the space they have. But we know there's more demand. This new property provides up to 10 classrooms eventually, where we can provide more services to more students. And so it's a great new permanent addition to the facilities of the school district to provide adequate resources to our growing community. And also it does some great things for Avaha. We can then deal with some of those portables that are showing their wear and tear and their age. And it creates opportunities for us at the Avaha campus as well. I appreciate the confidence and of the trustees and the performance of my duties as superintendent. I look forward to serving the district an additional year.
Thank you. Mrs. Vandergriff.
Hello, everyone. This is a very busy time of year for me being on the board and, trying to keep up to date on the very heavy sort of issues that we have on the agendas. And also, I can't talk about politics, but I've had the opportunity to talk to many people in person with activities throughout Murrieta. And so, I love being able to get input from people, see what they're really thinking about different things. I think that's a very important part of being a trustee, and despite the 100-degree weather, I really appreciate those conversations, the difficult conversations. Anyway, I also completed 100% of the Keenan Safe School training, and I met with a couple administrators about the issues that we are grappling with, and so I appreciate the help of all of them. And also, of course, I mostly appreciate the work that happens with all the teachers that, they keep the facility, they keep the programs going, day after day without us paying any attention. So good for them being professionals. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Lunn.
Well, out of respect for everyone's time, it is 8 o'clock. I'll keep it short. I've spent the past month interacting extensively with students, parents, staff, and the community. And what a positive, fulfilling, cup-filling experience that has been. It's great, it's awesome. And just to see the support for our district out there, and that all of our parents who truly understand what's going on and what we're doing, and believe in us and support in us. Mrs. Parsons, I want to address the Booster-thon really quick and the $70K that you raised. Many years ago, when I was Lisa J. Mail's PTA president, I brought Booster-thon to the state of California. We were the first ones to do it. And I was the subject of extreme pushback, bullying. A loud group, small, very loud group, absolutely told me, you're gonna get kicked out of the school, we're never gonna make any money, nobody supports you, and no one likes you, Linda, either. And that very first year, the year before, we had a fund run, fund loser. We actually lost $1,000, which is a lot for a PTA, and especially our PTA at that time. The next year, we had Booster-thon, and we netted, not grossed, netted $28,000. I am very proud of that, for having the long game in mind, looking ahead and seeing what we could do, not what has never been done before, but what we could do. And Booster-thon, that particular company, and there's another one, Apex, who has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for this community through those. I'm very proud of that. So go Lisa J. Mails. 70,000 is a lot more than 28,000. I've got to up my game on something, right? So thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you. Mr. Pardue.
All right, thank you. I'm going to try to keep it short, too. Today, I was very blessed to get to visit some more schools. I got to go to E. Curran and Mr. Lumsden. Took me on a great tour, and I enjoyed, actually, I felt like I was seeing a lot of the older schools, and that was kind of the issue of the bond, was to try to help with that, and we're building a new school. One of the things, well, let me keep with the schools before I go there. Rail Ranch and Mrs. Nord and some of the kids, they were phenomenal. It is always, one of the things about visiting both elementary schools is that the kids are awesome. It refreshes your soul. They're so innocent. They're so sweet. They're so happy to see you. Kids just come up and hug you. It's really, really cool. I teach seniors and juniors, so it's a very different experience. And the staff was very friendly and engaging, and I always see the professionalism of our teachers, and they do a great job in the classroom. I am so impressed. I also got to spend some time with Mr. Deephouse at Murrieta Valley High School, and of course, I'm very familiar. He did want to give me an official tour, and I thought that was really cool. Because I am there often enough, as my wife does work there as on staff. My kids all went through the school, so I'm very familiar with the school. But he did want to point out some things and take some time to have a good conversation. And that was really appreciated. And again, the professionalism of the staff and the atmosphere on campus is just amazing. I'm always impressed. Of course, I follow the sports teams. I'm looking forward to basketball season when I got my basketball tie on. And of course, our great football teams here in our district. It's so much fun going to the games, seeing the excitement, all the kids engaged. And the things that these kids get to experience is just, beyond. And so the homecoming dance at Murrieta Valley looked like a huge fiesta. It was just great. So I love all of those things, and it's one of the reasons why I ran for the board, the seat. I actually love public education. Both my wife and I have spent and dedicate our whole life to public education. Both my wife and I went to public schools. I think it's really important, but we also see it deteriorating in terms of academic standards. That was actually my number one. The other issue is the safety of the staff and the discipline issues, which of course the state has eroded and continues to erode. And then I found out today at the elementary level, we are eroding discipline at the elementary school. So it's going to continue to get worse if we just leave it up to the experts in Sacramento. That's a terrible situation. It's not good. And I always get saddened when we just kind of accept the status quo, like these people have what's the best interest of us. It is becoming a state-run school. There's no question about it. All the schools will become state-run schools. And it's terrible. You're taking away the ability for the community to be heard. And then what's really sad is sitting on the board, one of my greatest frustrations is, the community comes up and talks and you want to be able to respond and you can't, right? And we really need to make sure if we're going to have 150 community members come out, they want to hear what we have to say. And we didn't even have a discussion item to discuss anything. And one of the things that, I was quoted, you should know more about what's going on. I felt misled. I feel misled. When I go visit a school, sometimes I go there, I feel like I'm visiting a communist country. I have to have minders because it's like, you're the enemy. No, I'm not. I'm a community member. These are communities. We all work together. We all care about schools. And if we're trying to do something that the community is against, we need to really rethink what we're doing. We need to be able to communicate clearly. And we have city council members, not just one who's disgruntled because the school could be next to my house. No, we have community members and city council members saying, hey, this might not be a great idea. And what I thought was interesting too, it kind of resonated in my head because the bond issue was such a high priority. Someone had said, I thought you knew when you purchased a property that was going to be a bond thing. That was the part I didn't know. I did not understand that connection. I'm slow, I don't know. It's hard to get school board people, and here I am trying my best. So I think that's really one of the things that I want to see is more transparency on these issues so that we can communicate with our community about the issues that matter to us. I think that's really, really important. And I don't think that transparency is here right now. And it's a big concern for me. And more importantly, as I try to wrap this up, because this really concerned me, I don't want us to be voting on this property in what I would call a lame duck board meeting. There's an election, And unfortunately, we didn't get to vote tonight because if there was a vote tonight, there'd be political ramifications for the people who are voting. They'd be held accountable. If we end up voting for this in November, there's no accountability in November. Some of these people won't even be holding the position for the rest of the year. So I'm really hopeful that we're not voting in November. I think it needs to happen either in the next session or something different. But hopefully we can address that, Mr. Diffley, moving forward. I'm not entirely confident that we need another school after visiting some of these sites. That's the end of my comments. Sorry. Thank you.
Now, just one quick question. You're not sure, this clarify for me, you're not sure we need another school based on?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the space that I saw a lot of things that we could do with the existing schools. There was a lot of space, and I was stunned to see the driveway behind Rail Ranch and the portables that were there. There's so much space at E. Hale Kern, and also hearing how many classrooms they had that were empty. There's so many things we can do to address the needs as we watch to see if those projections actually become necessary. I know there's a lot to this, and we should have had a discussion on it. And it should be public so everyone can see and hear, and we could have that and be held accountable for what we're saying and doing, because it does feel secretive, and I don't like it.
Thank you. Ms. Young.
Okay, I'm going to try to keep it brief because I know it's late. One of the teachers mentioned the equity conference. I also spent 2 days at that equity conference in Palm Springs. There were quite a few employees from the district. I really appreciated getting to know more of them better. We also had parents there. I really get a lot out of it. I think to really teach people effectively, you have to understand where they are. We have people dealing with a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different circumstances, hardships. So I feel like I was pretty lucky, with my childhood. So I like to get all the training I can to understand better what people are dealing with so we can serve them better. I tried to go to as many different types of sessions as possible. I even went to a session on the fentanyl crisis. I now know how to administer Narcan. Hopefully I'll never have to do that, but I can, and I know what to do afterwards, and I actually learned a lot from that. Like, I would have been afraid to do it before I learned what I learned. I went to the APAC meeting, and it was the first meeting of the year, and the main goal of that meeting was to introduce the attendees to the support staff in the district and the programs in the district. So there were a lot of people there from the district. We also had students who are leading the various clubs at the high schools. And most of you know I'm a big volunteer at Santa Rosa Plateau. They kicked off their 3rd grade program. They serve all of the surrounding districts. But the very first group that came in this year was from Murrieta Elementary with 2 teachers and some parents. It was kind of a hot day, so we had to flip some stuff around. But they spend some time in the visitor center learning about the history of the plateau and what an ecological reserve is. They are brought on a hike where they learn about the different landscapes there and what plants and animals they can find. And it's a very simple thing, but the kids really appreciate it. I heard one of the kids say, "This is the bestest field trip ever." And then before it started, we were waiting for their bus to arrive, and there were some adults in their 30s who walked in, and they found out we were waiting for the 3rd graders, and one of the guys said, "Oh yeah, I remember my 3rd grade field trip. That's what got me into the plateau." But it's a very affordable field trip for the district because we do a lot of fundraising to pay for the buses. So the PTA doesn't have to pay for the buses, nor does the district. They usually stay in there's like a shady area with benches where they usually have a picnic lunch before going back, but it was kind of hot, so the teachers opted to just go straight back to the school for lunch because they needed air conditioning. And okay, and the last thing I'll say is I recently completed the state mandated ethics training that all local elected officials need to do starting, well, it depends on your term, but starting in January, everybody has to do it every 2 years. So I actually learned quite a bit from it too. Anyway, that's all I have to say, so.
Thank you. A lot of my time was spent collating and trying to get the report ready for the evaluation of the superintendent. It was a lot of late evenings, a lot of things back and forth, and I want to commend everybody for a job well done. Looking forward to the Thanksgiving season and the Christmas season at the schools because that's an enjoyable time to visit and see the crafts and so forth. I'm also thrilled to death that we are offering that golden pass, I guess it's gold, to the seniors because I think that will enrich their lives and it will certainly enrich our audiences and mutual appreciation. It's a terrific idea. And I think it will grow into other areas, I hope, and expand, and it'll be a great thing. Sometimes those people don't get a chance to do a lot for various reasons. Maybe they don't have the transportation or whatever. And to be able to do this and know ahead of time and plan for it, I think is a wonderful thing, stimulus really. Okay. D, adjournment. I call for a motion to adjourn the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.